Alright, what's going on, guys? Gonna watch Bellator 260, talk about UFC 263, maybe talk about the press conference from yesterday. Um, just figured, why not? So, Bellator 260 isn't that great, but I figured.
I'm here.
Whoa,
Hey guys, welcome to another.
Let me go check and make sure everything's working fine. Camilo, what's going on? Do I think Izzy is in Marvin's head? No, I do not. And I know you're going to think that's probably a strange answer. You know, it looks like he's in Marvin's head, but why are you saying he's not in Marvin's head? The reason I don't believe that he is Marvin is an absolute maniac. We've seen it, in the past, in, previous fights. The guy's just crazy. So I just believe this is the way he acts. We've seen it. I think it was in the Robertson fight. He was screaming at him in the lobby. He had that huge confrontation. The guy is just an absolute psychopath. And I don't think anything Izzy is doing is causing that. I just think that's Marvin's
Stands a man who has fought his way to the top of the MMA mountain.
No, I don't believe he's in Marvin's head at all. Do you think he's in Marvin's head? Because I just think Marvin acts like that regardless of who it was. He could be fighting Adesanya or he could be fighting, nobody. And he's going to act like that regardless. So, but I'm excited to see Marvin, for all that he is, and he is, a straight up maniac. He's putting himself out there because he's going to have to eat a lot of shit if he loses this fight. He's talking, I beat you in the first fight, and I'm your worst nightmare. And, he's really putting himself out there. A lot of guys say, oh, I'm here to win. I want to prove that I'm the best in the world. But Marvin is out there saying, making some serious comments. It doesn't really matter, but the point is, if he loses after some of the stuff he's saying, which happens all the time, but he's really going to have to eat shit from the MMA community. And he will never get another fight with Adesanya. If Adesanya goes out there and puts on a performance like he did against Paulo Costa, I don't think Marvin will ever get a rematch. If he goes out there, imagine he goes out there and gets finished, first or second round, and like Costa, and then it's going to be like, look how many people made fun of Costa after that performance against Adesanya. There was quite a few. Both guys have said a lot, and if either one of them loses, it's going to be pretty embarrassing. Very true. Either of those guys lose, without a doubt, it's going to be rather embarrassing for them. But you just got to if you are to lose, you got to eat your shit and just move on. But what I found interesting, particularly at the press conference, I wanted to talk about the press conference because I did actually watch it. And I always complain about the MMA media, but all the comments about steroids and Marvin saying, look at your titty and this and that, nobody asked a single relevant question about that. So I thought that was, notable. I thought Marvin made the press conference fun. I'm not a guy, you already know me, Camille, you've been on plenty of live chats. I'm not a guy that's in love with, drama and trash talk, but Marvin made the press conference interesting, and I feel like he's a maniac to begin with. I feel like he would act like this regardless of who the champion was. But man, can you imagine? Just imagine the shit we'll be talking in next week's live chat if Vettori just goes out there and gets starched in the first round. We'll be laughing our asses off. Yeah, I'm your worst nightmare. Alana Peterson, hey, I finally caught you again. Thanks for joining me tonight. Yep, I've been trying to do, on top of the, sometimes I do the fight streams, I've been trying to do one live chat a week. And hopefully I'll be doing another one this Tuesday or Wednesday. I usually been aiming for Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll try to schedule it 24 hours ahead of time so people can see it on their feeds. But thank you for joining me. It's good to see you back, and I hope you're doing well. This is half a live chat, half a watching Bellator 260. I don't care about Bellator 260 all that much, but I figured it was on tonight. Might as well do a live stream. You guys, make it more fun to watch some of these lesser fights. And I always like to see Lima fight, so it's going to be bad, really bad if Figgy loses. What's weird is, did you see Figgy made weight at the very last second? The very last second of the weigh-ins, he was able to make weight. and he looked super drained at the pre-fight press conference yesterday. I noticed that. And part of me, I thought about taking my prediction back. He looked so sucked in at the weigh-ins. He looked terrible at the weigh-ins, and coming in with 1 minute to spare, I think it was, to weigh in. I'm scared. No wonder he's talking about moving to bantamweight, and that sucks because it seems like every time we get someone notable at flyweight, they're talking about moving up to bantamweight. So Marvin seems very confident, and it's actually making me believe he has a good chance. But I don't know because we all know how good Izzy is. Yeah, I think Marvin's very well-rounded, and I said this before I even made my prediction video. I think I said it in one of the live streams or something like that. This could be one of those fights where a guy shows up and, he rises to the occasion. You know what I mean? Maybe he dominated Kevin Holland, but for me, he didn't look all that impressive. But sometimes, and I mentioned this time, and this happens time and time again, we've seen it throughout the sport. There's plenty of examples of it. Guys show up and they fight to the perceived level of their opponent. We've seen it with John Jones before in the past. He'll go out against a guy who everyone thinks he should starch, and it's a close fight. Then he goes out against a guy who everyone's high on, and he just mauls them and destroys them and fights at their strength. So Marvin Vettori could come out tomorrow night and fight, to the perceived level of Izzy, which, is astronomical. Everyone's high on Izzy. And maybe, just maybe, he's able to somehow pull it off, And I think he has a legitimate chance. I said in my video, I just thought Adesanya will be able to keep the fight on the feet enough to land a shot on his chin. And maybe, I don't know how it came off in the prediction video, like if I was disrespecting Vettori, saying he's going to get beat up at. But that's just the way I see the fight. But if he can impose his will and push Izzy up against the cage and tire him out and take him down repeatedly and land some actual ground and pound, he can win this fight by decision. But I don't think so. Let's see. Thoughts on Figgy saying he wants to face the 135-pound champ. Didn't look good in scales and won't stay at 125 for long. Yeah, I don't think we see Figgy at 125 for much longer. He looked terrible at the weigh-ins. He looked terrible at the scales. It sucks every time we get a decent flyweight. He seems like he's got to move up. So, but Yan, I agree with you. I'm looking ahead to your other message. I think Yan beats the brakes off of him. Whether it's striking or grappling, Yan beats him. I don't care where the fight goes. Who's fighting on Bellator tonight? Douglas Lima versus Yaroslav Amosov, if that's how you pronounce it. I don't know who else is on the card. I try, mainly my channel covers the UFC, but I try to watch all the events. I love MMA in general. And I seen this event was coming on tonight. I always like to watch Douglas Lima, and I figured, I would make a live chat / fight stream and see who wanted to join me. If Aljo is still champ, I think Figgy beats him, and if it's Yan, I think Yan wins. It's a very competitive fight. I'll say by KO because at 135, I think Figgy will still be super drained. I don't know. I think Figgy loses to Aljamain, and I think he loses to Peter Yan, because if you notice, the key to beating Figueiredo is taking him down and being able to control him. We've seen that. I'm very vaguely going off memory. Jussier Formiga. We've seen Brandon Moreno, who's a smaller guy, be able to take him down and kind of hold him down a little bit. Not nothing crazy. That isn't a great example. Figgy kind of did pop up. But a guy like Aljamain Sterling, I think they dominate Figueiredo. So I think Figueiredo is going to have to figure something out. But he's fun at flyweight for the time being. Let's see. And I already read that. A lot of bantamweights beat Figgy. Yeah, I agree with you, Yusuf. I agree with you for sure. Let me look up the rankings. I'm gonna tell you who I think Figgy would beat at bantamweight. I'll go through the entire list and see who do I think he would beat. It's not looking good. And bantamweight, in my opinion, is probably the best division in the UFC. Aljamain Sterling beats him. Peter Yan beats him. Corey Sandhagen beats him. Rob Font beats him. Jose Aldo beats him. Cody Garbrandt. Does Cody Garbrandt beat him? I'm going to say Cody Garbrandt beats him. Marlon Morales, or Moraes, or however you pronounce it. I don't know. I think Frankie Edgar beats him, unfortunately. I think Frankie could take him down, but Frankie would be a competitive fight, I think. Pedro Munoz beats him, and Merab Davishvili beats him, I think. I know that's crazy, basically the whole top 10, almost. I don't think Dominic Cruz beats him, but maybe so. But I'd definitely be interested in him to see there. I just hate to see him abandon flyweight at this point in time.
But that's the one thing he's got to do tonight. He's got to make
Take a
sure that
drink
he
real
mixes
quick.
it up against Paul Daly to have success.
Shows the confidence that he has in his ground game for sure. All right.
He has confidence no matter what. It's everything.
All right. Well, that's another great one to look forward to tonight. That's our co-main event.
Yeah,
And
Figgie's
you're
good on the ground, but if a guy can neutralize his submission attempts, then he's going to be screwed. Yeah, I think he beats Aljo. The power, the pressure, he has an iron chin and probably won't get taken down. I think he gets taken down by Aljo. Aljo has great takedown. You know, I know Peter Yan made him look like a little bitch in his last fight, but if Brandon Moreno can take him down with ease almost and not hold him, Aljamain Sterling would take him down for sure. I think, in my opinion, you know. But I'd love to see it. Rob Font has no chance versus Figgy. If he gets taken down by Figgy, it's over. Font has terrible takedown defense. Yeah, Font does have terrible takedown defense, but maybe the size discrepancy, I don't know how big it would be for Font versus Figgy. I think maybe he could stuff him, and I definitely think he would outstrike Figueroa probably. You know, just jab his face off, kick his leg. But that's not one I'm super confident in. I'm confident. I'll tell you which ones I'm confident in. I'm confident he loses to Aljamain. I'm confident he loses to Peter Yan. I'm confident he loses to Corey Sandhagen. So those three right there, I'm confident Figueroa loses. I could be wrong again, but I'm confident in those ones. Ginge, what's going on? Thanks for joining me. We're just kind of doing like a half live chat, half fight companion for Bellator 260 right now. So thanks for joining us. I don't even know how long this Bellator event is going to go for. It looks like a fight's about to start. I'm gonna put on my headphones for a second. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not even gonna listen to this shit. I don't even feel like listening to it, to be honest. But nothing's happening. Just hanging out. How do you feel Nate is going to do? I don't know. I hope the first round is fun. I think it could be a feeling out process for Leon Edwards. But realistically, I think Leon's going to beat the living shit out of him. I think Leon has better striking. He has more versatile weapons. He has more variety of attacks. I think he has just as good a stamina as Nate. And I think even if somebody wants to come out and say, because I feel like some people, I don't know, I feel like some people are saying Nate has better striking. Let's say hypothetically Nate is a world beater above Leon in the striking department. Leon can take him down and hold him down and avoid his submission attempts without a doubt. I am positive of that. You know, not that I love MMA math, but if you look back, Leon was easily able to take down Rafael Dos Anjos, easily able to control him, and RDA was able to do that to Nate. So, not that I don't like MMA math too much, but you know, that's a good reason why to believe that. I know I didn't want to just say that because it's Nate. I know it does suck, and I love Nate too, and I respect him for taking on some of the biggest fights. But he's undersized too for the weight class. You know, I know he doesn't feel like cutting weight anymore. But thoughts on Caressa Shields' best female boxer winning first MMA fight? I actually checked it out, and it was atrocious. I mean, the girl she fought looked like a total absolute bum, and looked like she had about 60 attempts to finish her. She had her full mounted for about 10 minutes, and literally was a worse striker than anybody I've ever seen in my life. I'm not impressed. I know the MMA media is going to talk about her a lot and say, oh, she won an MMA fight. And I respect her for coming over and fighting MMA, but PFL knew what they were doing. They were giving her some scrub to beat up, and she barely got away with it. I think Nate has the reach advantage, and that's it. Yeah, I think it's only like a 2-inch reach advantage, too, so it's nothing super significant. And I really hope the fight is competitive. But I feel like I was this close. I predicted a TKO for Leon Edwards, I was this close to predicting a doctor stoppage because Leon doesn't have a lot of power. He's not a big finisher, but he's very, very accurate. And I could see him just bloodying up that face of Nate Diaz and really beating him up and cutting him up. And, Nate has a lot of scar tissue, and we've seen him in the past, really deal with cuts, in every single fight. No matter if it was Conor McGregor, Anthony Pettis, Jorge Masvidal, constantly dealing with issues, and I hope that we don't see that. I would hate to see a doctor stoppage. I want to see one guy win super definitively. Leon doesn't have that much ring rust. His last fight was in March, and Nate last fought in November 2019. Yes, Nate did fight last in November 2019. I always like to talk about it because I was there. Leon still could a little bit because that fight was very limited period of time, but I'm happier with him, as far as, fighting semi-recently. Versus, Nate, who's been years. But Nate's shown it doesn't really affect him all that much. He sat out for plenty of time. Cobra Commander, what's up, Joey? Are you excited for UFC 263? Without a doubt, I am hyped. The whole card is fun, from top to bottom. I can't wait to see a lot of these fights. And it's nice just having good fight after good fight. Paul Craig versus Jamal Hill is interesting. Bilal Muhammad versus Damian Maia is interesting. Obviously, Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards should be a lot of fun. That's the featured fight, 3 fights down. Then we got the co-main event, which we talked about already in this live chat. Figueroa versus Brandon Moreno. Then the main event with Marvin Vettori acting like a fool kind of made it a little bit, just add a little bit more to it. I'm interested regardless. I'm not a huge fan of all this drama and whatnot, but it made it a little bit more interesting. It was impressive from Shields, only been training 7 months. Yeah, but training 7 months to beat up a bum, it doesn't impress me at all. There's no way I can see Edwards losing in any situation apart from Diaz pulling out a submission. Yeah, I can't fathom Diaz winning at all. I really can't, and it sucks to say because I looked, for a way that we could see him somehow pulling it off, and I just can't come up with one. Leon was off for a bit before the last fight. Yeah, he was off for a good bit. He was off since the RDA fight, which was July of 2019, I believe. Nate should be fighting legends like Tony and other big names with losses. I think after this fight, Nate goes and fights Conor McGregor in the trilogy. Conor probably loses the trilogy to Dustin. And then we get to see those two run it back for the third time. Get big paychecks for both guys. And then I don't know where we go from there. But I agree, Nate should be fighting like a Tony Ferguson. But how can you not respect Nate Diaz? He looked at Leon Edwards. Colby Covington is turning down fights with Leon Edwards. Granted, it was on short notice. I admit that. And you got Nate who's saying, you know what, I'll take that guy. And he's always shown the will to want the toughest fights. He came in on 1 week's notice and beat Conor McGregor, who everyone was anointing the greatest of all time before he even did anything. I would love to see him fight Tony Ferguson. That would be a lot of fun. If he loses this fight, which I suspect he will, I'd love to see him fight Tony Ferguson next. I'm trying to think who else would I like to see him fight. I always wanted to see Nate versus Justin Gaethje as well. But I think Justin Gaethje would kick those legs out from underneath. I was disappointed Nate looked so much smaller than Leon in the stare down. Yeah, he is significantly smaller. Nate is not a huge welterweight by any means. I mentioned it in my prediction video, but he went up to welterweight for a trial a long time ago, and Rory McDonald beat the living piss out of him. Just dominated him, threw him around. It was when the first couple of years that I became an MMA fan, and I was shocked with the utter domination that was happening in that fight. He was giving him Kurt Angle suplexes, German suplexes, and like 4 or 5 in a row too. That's how bad he was beating Nate and exploiting his grappling disadvantage. The Diaz brothers just, no matter how long they've been around, it's like I don't know if they're not working on it or it's just not there for them. But their takedown defense has never gotten any better at all for either one of them. Yusuf, you need to give up McGregor versus Oliveira. It's not happening. Maybe it will. But then again, Yusuf, I don't trust anything you say because you were talking about how Michael Chandler was going to KO Oliveira just because Paul Felder did like 3 years ago. So I know you're a little bit biased. You don't like Oliveira. But I'm happy to have Oliveira as champion. He's a great fighter. Sucks how Leon never fought Masvidal. I know, it really does suck. I would have loved to see Leon fight Masvidal. Maybe after this fight, that's something we get. I don't know. Because ever since that brawl backstage, everyone's wanted to see that fight. You got the history behind it. There's not a single person that's not like, okay, I want to see this fight. And they see, the UFC has that perfect storyline to promote. Oh, these guys got into a fight backstage. By the way, I think Leon Edwards beats him. And I think he beats him with relative ease. I think it's a fight we could still see one day, but I don't know. I wouldn't get your hopes up, Alana. You never know, really, what the UFC's plan. I thought that fight would have been made by now. The second that happened backstage, they both got big wins on the card. They both, looked super impressive. And then they get into a brawl backstage, the shit the UFC loves. And they get it all on film. And I thought everyone thought for sure they got to fight now. And of course it never happened. So we both know Chandler was close to KOing Oliveira. My assessment was fair. Close doesn't count, Yusuf. Close does not count, my friend. He did not. He did not KO him. So I think he got KO'd himself. So, I can say, oh, it was close, but it doesn't happen, but maybe you'll be right. Maybe you'll get right. Maybe McGregor will beat Dustin Poirier. I don't see it happen. I picked McGregor to win the initial fight. I just think Dustin is too durable, and I think he'll be able to absorb McGregor's power, because McGregor is a great striker, don't get me wrong. He was able to land a decent amount of strikes on Dustin in that very first round. And he even looked like he was maybe putting Dustin in a little bit of trouble. But the power isn't as significant as, him against 145ers and Dustin at 145. And I think regardless of how the fight goes, I think Dustin will be able to absorb damage from Conor, even if it lasts 1 or 2 rounds. Maybe it's not as quick as the first fight. He'll be able to absorb damage. Conor will start to fade, and Dustin will start to put it on him just like he did in the first fight. Unless Conor shows something crazy, I'm picking Dustin for that fight, and I think most people will be. I just don't see... McGregor loses, and he acts like he's never heard of calf kicks before. So, I can't accept a guy who, does nothing but make excuses for losses. And, I don't know if we'll ever see Masvidal versus Edwards because, if I was Masvidal, I'd be rooting for Edwards to get a title shot and then win. Because then you can get another title shot. He's never getting another title shot against Usman. But McGregor has had it. He will never be a contender again. He once had the Mayweather fight and he had all the money. It changed him. I think I've talked about this before on the live chats or anything like that, but in case anybody who hasn't heard this from me before will hear it now, and maybe I'm wrong. I admit maybe I'm wrong. So, when Conor McGregor came into the UFC, I was a massive fan of Conor. You can go back and look at some of his early, interviews, and he was just awesome. How he was so likable, and he was looking good. But then he started to really change. And also, I felt like his skill level was overhyped, even when I did like him a little bit. Because we see with guys who are super flashy, get a lot of KO finishes, they get a little bit more credit than they deserve for their skill set. And everyone remembers the narrative, UFC was protecting Conor. And maybe that was true, maybe that wasn't. But I'll tell you what is true. He fought Dennis Seaver to get a title shot. Come on now. Dennis Seaver? Nobody even barely knows who Dennis Seaver is. Then he gets a title shot. Jose Aldo pulls out. and he beats Chad Mendes, but only because Chad Mendes came in on 1 week's notice. And Chad Mendes put up a valiant effort, and there's no doubt in my mind, Chad Mendes with a full camp beats Conor McGregor. Mark my words right now. Then Conor comes out. He fights Aldo. He knocks him out. Can't take nothing away from him. It is what it is. Then he goes and he fights Nate Diaz. Short notice, but he loses. And I predicted him to lose that fight when nobody else was picking Nate Diaz. I wish I had a YouTube channel right now, because I would have had a prediction video and I would have said Nate is big, has great stamina and a great chin. He's the perfect person to beat Conor McGregor. Goes out there, beats him the first time. Conor gets the rematch. I believe Nate beat him the second time, but he didn't get the decision. The UFC immediately feeds him a title shot against Eddie Alvarez. And again, that's his best performance. He goes out there and outclasses Eddie Alvarez. There's nothing I can say about that. But I just don't believe, some of these guys that he beat, at the times he beat them. I think his skill set is overhyped. Then after the Eddie Alvarez fight, he disappears, goes and boxes Mayweather. And people talk about, he went X amount of rounds at Floyd. And, I didn't watch that fight until after the fact. I was never going to pay for that fight, and I didn't really care about that freak show. But, we from people I've talked to who know boxing, and from a little bit of what I know about it, Floyd went out there to put on a performance. He let Conor stick around. And I don't really count that to anything, but then he comes back to MMA, gets the brakes beat off him by Khabib Nurmagomedov. Then he sits out for like another year and a half. He has the opportunity to come back against Justin Gaethje, a lightweight contender who's on like a 3 or 4 fight win streak, or he can fight Cowboy Cerrone, who's on like a 3 fight losing streak. And he says, you know what? I'll take Cowboy Cerrone. And that told me all that I need to know right there. The fact that he chose to fight Cowboy Cerrone over, a potential Justin Gaethje, that told me all I needed to know. Then he comes back, he picks out Dustin. I believe he picked Dustin because he thought he could beat Dustin because he beat him in the first fight. And Dustin just smokes him. And he makes nothing but excuses. And I'm sick of it. And I'm also sick of the MMA media. All they do after that loss was, Conor has a family. Conor has millions. A lot of these fighters have families. A lot of these fighters have, not a lot of them have money like he does, but, it's just nothing but excuses, and I'm sick of it. Just nothing but excuses after excuses. And if Conor beats Dustin, he will undoubtedly get a title shot, and I don't believe it's deserved at all.
I mean, you guys all know I don't stray away from a fight, so give me a name. I'm not chasing anybody. I'm not running from anybody.
No, not going to happen, Yusuf. Chad Mendes was too small for Conor. Yeah, and he was out of shape, too, because he came in on 1 week's fight. Conor smoked Aldo. Aldo hasn't been the same since. I don't believe that. I think Aldo is still great. And also, imagine a world, if you remember, Conor and Aldo both landed one hard shot to open the fight up. The one Aldo got knocked out on, he landed a return shot as he was being KO'd, and he cut Conor's eyebrow. And a lot of people don't remember that. Imagine had Aldo slept him early. We'd be talking about a different world. Yes, and Conor has never defended the belt at all. Never, ever, ever defending the belt. I'll always say Conor versus Aldo was luck. Same with Anderson Silva and Weidman. Alana Peterson, I am 100% with you on that. Anderson was clowning Weidman in the first fight. I know Weidman got, I think he got a takedown or so. But he was just clowning with him and he got caught. And then the second fight, he broke his leg. I don't believe... Weidman, I was never high on either. And I predicted him to get the shit beat out of him by Luke Rockhold. And, if you look back on the totality of Weidman's career, you can really dissect it and go right along with me that he was overhyped. The only people he beat was old Brazilian guys, Vitor Belfort after he was, deflated. The Leo Machida fight was a good win, so I can't complain about that. But I think both of those, Weidman over Anderson and Conor over Aldo was kind of lucky. A lot of champs fought nobody to get to the belt. Khabib fought a real estate agent that was never a contender for the belt. True, but I say Al Iaquinta's not too bad. And then Khabib also fought Michael Johnson, who's been inconsistent but good. Also fought Edson Barboza, who was a great fighter at the time. A lot of people thought Edson was going to be the guy to derail Khabib. Khabib also fought RDA when RDA was an up-and-coming contender. I remember when that fight was on the prelims, and I was very, very excited for that fight. RDA versus Khabib happened on the prelims of a fight card early in their careers. And that was a fun fight. And I remember seeing Khabib just ragdoll RDA against the fence. And I said, this guy is special because RDA was legitimate. I could tell he was a legit guy at that time. Does the same apply to Cejudo? What exactly are you talking about, Yusuf? That he was lucky? Is that what you're saying? I'm confused on what that means. Does the same apply to Cejudo? So let me know. By the way, there was a fight on Bellator already. I didn't even talk about it at all. I don't really care.
Well, up next, Aaron Pico comes in. He's riding a 3-fight win streak. He faces UK's own Hayden Lee. Josh, when Aaron Pico first came into the sport, he was touted as one of the best prospects on the planet. Lots of hype now. Obviously, he's suffered some losses.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Weidman's best win his entire career, in my opinion,
Absolutely. I mean, like, he's somebody that
was Lyoto Machida. Yeah, I think it was a great win.
and hard work. And that's all you really need to be is.
And I literally remember telling everyone who would listen to me at the time that Luke Rockhold is going to beat this guy. I think he's the better striker, and I think he has better grappling as well. I said if he takes Weidman down, I believe he'll be able to hold him there and possibly even submit him. I never foresaw the beating that Luke Rockhold was going to put on him. That beating was vicious, worse than any beating I've seen. And Herb Dean was just ready to let Weidman die. RDA had a rough run against wrestlers after that. Khabib gave the blueprint. Yeah, but a lot of those guys were at welterweight. You know, I don't think it's the same at lightweight for him, other than Khabib. But I could be wrong. So I'm sorry if I am. You say McGregor faced no one. Defending belt, does the same apply to Cejudo? Yes, the same applies to Cejudo. Cejudo never really defends the belt. He fought Dominic Cruz. And don't get me wrong, I like Dominic Cruz, but it was on like a week's notice. Dominic Cruz was coming off a 2-year layoff, so. Already, yeah, okay, I already read that. By the way, guys, thanks for joining me tonight. If you haven't already, do me a favor and like the video. Cejudo probably has the greatest run in the UFC. He beats DJ, then TJ on PEDs, beats Marlon Moraes in his prime, and then defends it against Dominic Cruz. That's a crazy streak. Yeah, he did have a great streak. I was just saying, I think Yusuf was talking about defending the belt. And obviously he didn't defend it against anyone. But the streak that he had against TJ, or DJ, TJ, then Marlon, was great. I think that the Marlon win was huge, and I know a lot of people are gonna, shit on that one now that Marlon's in kind of a losing streak. But Marlon was a legit guy, and that was a great win.
You know what? It's a tough fight though. This one.
Connor's win over Aldo was not luck. Aldo had a bad habit of faking it right and jumping in with a left hook. Connor saw that and caught it. Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, and I'm not. There was skill to it. But I just, in my heart, I just would have loved to see. I would have loved to see the fight play out a little more. And what if Aldo landed a big shot too? What if Aldo would have put him out instead? So, Cejudo defended both belts at once. Yeah, I guess so, kind of, in a way. But TJ Dillashaw is a piece of shit. He went down. He went down to flyweight to basically try to close out the division, and he's using PEDs. I hope Corey Sandhagen beats the shit out of TJ Dillashaw, honestly. And what fight are you talking about you watch 100 times? Luke versus Weidman? I don't think I could watch that again. That brutality was too much for him. Herb Dean was ready to let him die in there. That was ridiculous. I remember very rarely, so I like complaining about stoppages, but very rarely is there one that egregious. I think there was another one with Herb Dean and CB Dollaway. I don't remember who CB Dollaway was getting beat up by, but it was an absolute bludgeoning. But Herb Dean should have stopped that Weidman versus Rockhold fight. Without a doubt, it should have been stopped in whatever round. The round before it was stopped. It should have been stopped.
The one last thing I'm going to bring up is that wrestlers tend to dip their head.
Yeah, Marlon's gas tank. Because Marlon was beating Cejudo, but his gas tank, he started to fade, and then the skill gap started to close. And Cejudo put it on him. With them knees, oh my goodness.
He reacts to that power. All right, we're going to have that answer here shortly. Let's get back to the fight action. Mauro, back down to you.
All right, Jen, thank you very much. The number 6.
But I was super high on Marlon. When he first came into the UFC, I was very, very high on Marlon Moraes. I thought he would be champion, and obviously I was wrong. Cejudo beat DJ, which I give him. A TJ who died cutting the 125. Didn't beat a 135-pound champ to win a title. He's also beat Cruz, who was coming back after 2 years. Yeah, but I think that so if you really want to pick, if you want to pick apart Cejudo's run, what I would say is he didn't beat DJ. I thought DJ probably won that fight, and I actually picked Cejudo to win that fight. So you could say that, you know, you could say TJ who died to get to 125, and then a guy who wasn't even the champion at 135, and then he beat Cruz past his prime, coming back after 2 years. But for me, just making it competitive with DJ, regardless of a win, is good. You know, again, TJ, it was still great at the time, and he was cheating. So, you know, he said he could make 125, so whatever. It's a win. A win's a win on that one. And then the Marlon win is actually, you know, probably the most impressive, honestly, because the win against DJ is impressive, but I don't really believe he won that fight. It was super close, though. So I think the most impressive to me was the Marlon win, because I was very, very high on Marlon. He was one of the guys that I watched over in World Series of Fighting, and I said, when he comes to the UFC, he has championship potential. And I thought he would become champion in the UFC. Unfortunately, his cardio, he is, he's almost like Aldo. I think if you told me, give any fighter on the UFC roster an unlimited gas tank, they would be the best fighter. Aldo with an unlimited gas tank, I think, beats absolutely everyone. I think Aldo beats Max Holloway if he has an unlimited gas tank. I just think he's one of the best fighters. I mean, he's great everywhere. He has great takedown defense. He has great jiu-jitsu that you very rarely ever see. His striking is super fast and powerful. He has great kicks. You know, he's super explosive. You know, he has such a varied of attacks. But his stamina is, you know, leaves a lot to be desired. So I think if Aldo had a great gas tank, I think he would be one of the greatest fighters. Marlon, I don't know what happened to Marlon now. I mean, now he's on the 2-fight losing streak, or 3-fight losing streak, and he was KO'd by Corey Sandhagen and then Rob Font. So, but that was a big win by Rob Font.
He has the power in his hands to put anyone in the featherweight division down.
Yeah, but also the McGregor win against Holloway wasn't all that impressive, and also Holloway was nowhere near where he is today. But again, maybe I'm just a hater, Yusuf. I think, okay, you thought Cejudo. I haven't watched it in so long, but I thought DJ could have gotten it. And it was super close. All right, so the Aaron Pico fight is about to begin.
Arena now features 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Live on Showtime, we introduce the blue corner. At 6 foot weighing in, 145 pounds even, his professional record wins 4 losses from
Now I'm going to choke to death.
England. Introducing Aiden Lee.
So I'm going to actually watch this fight. But the DJ win. Hold on, I'm still choking.
Victories, 3 defeats, fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico by way of Whittier, California.
But the DJ win for Cejudo was probably his best win, if not Marlon. But again, it was super close, and so that makes it good even so, especially considering he got destroyed by DJ in their first fight. But also, I think I lose a little bit of respect for Cejudo because he dipped out the second the division started to get serious. All right, so we got Cejudo, not Cejudo. We got Aaron Pico fighting. I know there's a lot of hype around him. I don't think he's all that great. Versus Lee. Lee hanging on the outside. Pico's already got him down, single leg, center of the cage.
What a way to turn the corner on that takedown. Beautifully executed by Aaron Pico.
And Lee from the butterfly guard may look to elevate coordinate, but immediately it's Pico passing and back to their feet.
Okay, back to their feet.
To strike on the
Lee disengages. He's using the front kicks to keep distance. Ooh, Pico got caught, but then he goes for a single leg, gets it again. Lee looking for a guillotine, but Pico immediately goes to the other side.
looking to move to side control. What a scramble. What a fight already. We are seeing everything already.
How many of you guys are actually watching Bellator? Does anybody even care about Bellator at all? Because we can keep talking about why I watch the fight, and I'll just mention if anything interesting happens in the fight. So let me know in the chat what you guys want to hear about.
Aaron Pico needs to pick those legs up, drive him towards the fence, and now pick him back up and bring him back to the ground.
Pico has him pressed up against the cage. Okay, they're back on their feet right now. So Pico's not able to hold him down.
In the center of the cage, and again,
Another takedown. Boom.
takedown, and again, Pico takes Lee down. Pico
3 minutes and 30 seconds right now. I can put a timer up in a minute if you want.
three wrestling disciplines pursued
MK, are you subscribed? This is the first time I've seen you in the chat.
in lieu of college.
If you're not subscribed, go subscribe. But I think I may have seen you before. I'm not 100% sure. 3 minutes and 13 seconds. 3 minutes and 12 seconds. 3 minutes and 11 seconds. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Pico's got him down. He's in half guard right now, ground and pounding him.
Work himself back to his feet like he's done recently.
Lee told us that no matter where the fight goes, that
Ooh, Pico landed some big shots on the way up. He's using the cage to get up.
things up here in the opening round as Lee circling to his right. Pico looking to
Pico gets reckless on the entry because he's just kind of, he's just trying to look for the takedown every time. And he's taking this guy down at will, but the guy keeps finding a way to get up. Lee keeps finding a way to get up.
You need to make this your
Yeah, and he got slept, didn't he? Cobra Commander.
That's what Aaron Pico's showing right now. But Aiden Lee is working hard to get back to his feet. I love the fact that he's getting out of these situations. Well done by Aiden Lee.
By the way, guys, I'm gonna be trying to. Ooh, another takedown by Pico. I'm gonna be trying to do at least one live chat, like without the fights. Pico looking for a submission. I think he's about to get it. He's got an anaconda choke or a Darce choke, whatever you want to call it. I don't think he's gonna get it though, but it looks like he's got the hands locked though. 2 minutes left, but the other guy looks like he's defending it very well.
looking for his first victory via anaconda choke here in the first round against Aiden Lee.
He's still looking for the choke, but I don't think he's gonna get it.
Nice job by Aiden Lee. If Aaron Pico was able to get that leg, it would have been a big difference in his ability to make that leg.
Rolling knee bar attempt there by
He gets out of it. He gets back up. He jumps off the cage, but doesn't throw anything. Lee just keeps getting taken down time and time again. He finds his way back up. But, yeah, guys, I'm going to try to do a live chat. Yes, I think Lee can survive the first round, MK. I'm going to try to be doing a live chat at least once a week on Tuesday or Wednesdays, okay? So anybody who's here right now, make sure you come on Wednesdays, too. And we'll just, I think Lee's going to survive. And I'll give you one better. Maybe he survives and he finishes. Oh, he's getting elbowed brutally. Maybe he doesn't. Pico's trying to ground and pound him out right now. Bellator is getting boring. I used to like them at that point probably like 5 years ago. They were giving UFC. Yeah, I used to love them when they had their... Oh, another Darce choke attempt. I think he's going to get this one. Oh, he gets out again. I liked them when they did the tournament style. I really enjoyed that, to be honest. And I used to watch Bellator religiously. Now I'm kind of sporadic with watching Bellator. I don't like when they started doing all those freak show fights. And then, you know, with the Kimbo Slice shit. And it kind of turned me away from Bellator. GSP is the GOAT for me. Who is yours? I don't know. I hate that discussion, the GOAT discussion. 11 seconds, 10 seconds. Ooh, Pico looking for an armbar with it. 8 seconds to go. Lee's just, he's looking for an ankle lock now. Pico's going for everything. This man's crazy. The round just ended for me. What a crazy ass round. MK, I'll put a timer up for you. Hold on. I'll put a timer up for you. But I used to love Bellator back when they did the
Look at the slam. Boom, right down on the middle of his back. He did this continuously.
when they used to do,
making a big move. Picks him up, drops him
let's see what we got here.
Nope, this is when he goes the anaconda choke.
Let's see if I can get it.
He wasn't able to get a hold of that leg to bring it closer to make that hit.
I don't know.
This is that pass.
Imagine Busin. Who's Busin? Am I missing something here? Ooh, I got... This whole time I had the desktop audio coming through? I can't figure out how to get the timer up right now. 4:54 in the second round. 4:51. Pico's so sloppy on the entry. MK, do you want Lee to win? Pico's coming out looking for the KO. Ooh, nice left hook by Lee. But he just gets over aggressive and gets taken down again. Let's see. I want to see something. Pico's in side control. But who is my GOAT? That is the question. Probably GSP. I would say John Jones without a shadow of a doubt. But I kind of hate giving him that with the PED problems. So, but I don't know who I would really go with. It would be John Jones easy, no open and shut, but the PED things. Okay. He's getting beat up right now, but it looks like he's doing all right. Yeah, I hate it when Scott Coker came around and started doing all those Kimbo Slice fights and Dada 5000. That shit really put me off, to be honest. I stopped watching it then, and I just recently started watching it in the last year again. I never like those freak show fights, whether it's the UFC doing it, whether it's Bellator doing it, whether it's Showtime doing it, whoever's doing it. I do not like the freak show fights at all. Pico looking for another head choke. Looking for a guillotine or some sort. Don't illegally knee him. Ooh, nice body shot by Pico, but they're back to their feet. Yeah, I got to give it to Lee. He's throwing hands, but he's just getting taken down immediately. You got 2 minutes and 44 seconds, 2 minutes and 43, 2 minutes and 42. He's getting ground and pound right now, and Aaron Pico's looking for a choke. But Lee keeps finding a way back to his feet. I have no problem giving Jones the GOAT status. I think PED, everyone was taken. And I don't like John Jones as a person. Yeah, that is part of the discussion as well. You know, most guys are probably using PEDs. So, but it just sucks. You know, I hate to see. Oh, it looks like he might get this choke. I think he might finish him here. This choke is close. He's getting ready to tap. He's getting ready, but he might get out of it. Pico's got a nice choke. Oh, he gets out of it. Lee is just scrappy as hell. But I also love Anderson Silva, you know, and he has the PED problems too. It sucks. It kind of tarnishes it for him. It sucks. So Pico's just on his back, just ground and pounding him. I think I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm not sure. I think Lee is going to survive the round. But he's getting beat up pretty badly, so that may change in a minute. You know, we got 1 minute and 17 left. Who are you? Everyone in the chat, who's your GOAT? About 1 minute left. Who do you think's UFC GOAT? And Alana and Cobra, make sure you come this week on the live chat where we talk about everything MMA. Last week, I scheduled it. We ended up having like 30 people in here the whole time. I couldn't even keep up with the messages. Pico looking for another submission. They are just riding Pico terribly. The commentators are so biased. Do I think Adesanya is using PEDs? From everything I've read and I've listened to, there's very little excuses for the way that his breast is the way that it is. And I don't like the way that he's ignored it. He's shied away from it. The media refuses to ask about it. So I'm going to say yes, or he has at some point in time. But I don't know. I'm no expert, you know. He's going to survive the second round. There's 5 seconds left. He survives second round. But barely. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think Adesanya is on PEDs? I don't think, you know, there's any reason for him to have that guy now. And every PED, you know, expert on YouTube and whatnot has said, you know, that is a telltale sign of using PEDs. And there's no excuse, you know, from the Yoel fight to that. All of a sudden, that titty just started sagging. And we really have no idea where it came from. And he shies away from even talking about it. And if you notice, when Vettori was bringing up in the press conference yesterday, you know, he never even acknowledged it. He just started talking shit back to Vettori. Yeah, I agree with you, Alana. And look at Chael Sonnen, one of the worst cheaters of all time. He was PED'd to the gills. He got caught after their first fight at 117 with some type of PEDs in his system. So he would, even if he would have won that dominant fight where he won and then he lost against Anderson Silva by triangle choke, third round is starting. Ooh, nice body shit by Pico. And the takedown defense of Lee is just atrocious. I think he's going to get finished here. Oh, they let him up. Lee looks for a takedown. Sorry, guys. I'm distracted. I'm trying to see what's going on here. But yeah, Anderson Silva fought in the air where everybody was cheating, for sure. I think most fighters are on some type of PEDs. I think TJ took it to a whole new level. Look at the people he had working with him. Yeah, and also, I think there's a lot of guys. I remember Ali Bagatinov got caught for EPO. I know a lot of people suspect Kamaru Usman of it, but, you know, there's no evidence, no failed tests. So, but guys are going to find ways to cheat. You know, if they make money for winning fights, so they're going to try to find a way to make sure they win these fights. My goat might be Gaethje, but I seen his debut fight in UFC and fell in love. I even named my son after him. That's funny. Pico finishes him in the third round. But then again, I named my daughter to specifically initial her GSP, so in between the two. I was actually a massive fan of Gaethje when he was in World Series of Fighting. He's always been an absolute animal. I'm taking this headset off now. I don't care about this anymore. The fight's over. Aaron Pico finishes him in the third round. But Gaethje, I love watching Gaethje fight. It seemed like he was fighting Luis Palomino every other weekend. And the fights were amazing. And Gaethje goes out there, and he always aims to put on a show. And that fight against Michael Johnson was one of the best fights of the year. You know, a lot of people don't talk about that fight too much. But, you know, Michael Johnson, while inconsistent, is a great lightweight fighter. And he went out there and he survived the early onslaught and he was able to finish him. And it was a spectacular fight, one of the best fights. A lot of fighters had said USADA is a joke. You have to read between the lines. Yeah, I think USADA is nowhere near as thorough as it could be. But, I mean, it's better than what they had before. If you remember, what they had before was they were only testing them the night of, I believe. You know, I think it was maybe the day of the weigh-ins and then the night of. So when you got caught in the old days, for PED usage, you had to be the biggest idiot known to man. And think about it. Alistair Overeem got caught back then. Take shelter. What's going on? Who do you guys think is using PEDs right now but has not been caught? Like, you're sure they're on PEDs. I'm curious. I wonder. Let me see if I can pull something up here. Let me see if I can pull up this little. That's weird. Yeah, that Johnson fight is up there with Joanna and Yang. Yeah, exactly. That was a great fight. Without a doubt, that was one of the best fights of the year. I remember Michael Johnson was saying, I'm going to kill this guy. He's never fought anybody on my level. And the fight was just so fun from start to finish. I couldn't believe it. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, I can pull that up here too. That's awesome. So I have that in front of me too. But Joanna versus Weili Zhang was amazing. Remember how terrible Yoel Romero versus Israel Adesanya was afterwards? That fight was trash. And I think what made it worse was the fact that you had Joanna versus Weili Zhang right before it. Camilo says, Izzy, Costa, Chandler, and maybe Figure all on roids or PEDs. Yeah. I like that list. I don't know. It's hard to accuse guys when, especially when you look at their physiques and you try to say, oh, this guy's on PEDs. But a lot of times, look at the guys who have been busted for PEDs. It's more of a cardio PED than it is, some type of anabolic steroid. They're using stuff to increase their stamina. And some of these PEDs are in and out of your system in 24 hours. So you really got to get busted badly to, or you got to really time it very badly to get caught. Let me see what he's saying, just out of curiosity. Okay, I'm done. I'm done listening to this. Tom says, Izzy has extremely bad gyno. He's 100% on something. It does not, from what I've been reading and what I've seen people talk about, there's no excuse for him, having that as badly as he has. And what makes me super suspicious is the fact that he has not barely addressed it. And the media never talks about it. You know what I mean? Imagine if John Jones had that titty issue. The media would be all over it. But they don't do it to Izzy because they don't want to get in his bad graces and lose interviews. He's the champion and blah, blah, blah. But also, I do think some of the times those MMA fans jump to conclusions, But Paulo Costa is another one. You look at his body and you wonder, how is that possible? How excited are you guys for UFC 263 tomorrow, though? I'm so excited. I think I keep jumping back and forth with what I'm most excited for. Either Figgy versus Moreno or Adesanya versus Vettori. I really want to see Vettori come out and put on a decent performance. How ironic would it be if Izzy's on supplements and Vettori's? Can you imagine if Adesanya tests positive? What a nightmare for the UFC that would be. Imagine he wins and then he tests positive. I'd be pissed. I don't like, I I know we don't live in a perfect world, but in a perfect world, they would catch all the cheaters and just ban them. But the problem with that is there is mistakes, People make mistakes. They don't mean to take something. They end up taking something. And I hate to see guys punished for so long, and maybe it wasn't on purpose. And then you also have the variable of, imagine, I don't like John Jones, or I don't like, TJ Dillashaw or whoever it is. So I hire someone to go slip something in their drink while they're out at a restaurant or some shit. You know what I mean? And I know that's not very likely, but it's plausible. It is plausible. Yeah, but Costa not gassing out quickly, that doesn't mean he's not on a steroid. That means he's probably not on an EPO. EPO increases something to do with the red blood cell count and helps increase the stamina. So, I don't remember the testosterone thing. I think they're allowed a variable level. Like, there's a ratio that they're allowed to fall within. And it's very weird if it's very low, and it's very weird if it's very high. So they have like a range that they're allowed to fall into without being in trouble for it. But I remember John Jones was very low at one point in time, and that means you're abusing something and you ended up low, supposedly. I also don't think it's very good to say, this guy's on PEDs because of his physique. So I think Paulo Costa does get a lot of unfair treatment because his physique is so good. And the guys that have been caught, are the guys who don't look like him. It's always the guys with the crazy stamina that are cheating, because the stamina is most important. And I think that's a lot of things that people like to cheat with, because they don't want to do the hard work of earning that stamina by super hard cardio work. If Max is on PEDs, I'm closing down the channel, and I'm never watching MMA again, because I would be so distraught. I'd probably even cry a little bit. Can you imagine we find out Max Holloway banned for 5 years, EPO in his system? I'd be devastated, absolutely devastated. Tom, by the way, I love your picture, Tom. That's hilarious. My one buddy in high school, he was like 14 years old and did a cycle of D-ball and was absolutely jacked. He looked like Costa at 14. That's crazy. Yeah, the one TJ was on. Yep, that was the stamina thing. Well, you'll get to see Dillashaw next month against Corey Sandhagen. I hope he gets beat down, for being a cheater. Remember Tim Sylvia was on steroids and looked terrible? No, I did not know that. I was not around for that era. I've been a fan for about 12 years, so I know a little bit about beforehand, but some of it I have not seen. But Tim Sylvia, from the highlights that I've seen of him and from fights I've seen with him in there, watching old fights, he does not look very good at all. So it's hard to believe that he's on PEDs. And how did he even get caught back then? You know how badly he must have been abusing them to get caught back then? And guys, don't forget to do me a favor and like the video. I appreciate it. If Max was on roids or PEDs, I would kill myself. Yeah, that would. Could you? I couldn't even do that video. Like, if it came out today, I don't think I could. I don't think I could watch or do a video on it. How does cycling work? Like, how would that take? It builds muscle or just body fat? From what I understand, guys use it for a certain period of time and then stop using it, and then I really don't. I'm not sure of it at all. But it depends what you're taking. If you're taking like an antibody steroid, it builds muscle, I believe. But it all depends on exactly what you're taking. But also, like, the EPO increases your stamina and your recovery time, so you're able to train a lot more. So let's say a guy can take EPO all camp and maybe he's not getting tested, and then like a month out he can cycle off where he stops taking it, and then return to taking it after he's done the fight, because now he's came in, he looked great, and he won. I mean, can we all agree 8% of some type of steroid? Probably. That, or like maybe, I would say, if I had to put a guess on it, I'd say 60 to 75% are probably on something. Yeah, Max would never. You could tell he works hard, and also his physique, but also he's natural. I just would have a hard time believing Max is on it. If Max tests positive, I'm going to be heartbroken. Yeah, Max wouldn't. Yeah, okay, I already read it. Tim Sylvia admitted to taking steroids. Okay, hold on, I missed something. Joey, thoughts on TJ saying he deserves a title shot? He's a piece of shit. Fuck TJ Dillashaw. He's a cheater. He's injecting shit in his ass to try to close down a division. I will never be, nice to TJ Dillashaw or high on him at all. I will always consider him a cheater, trying to close down a division too. And imagine, and the thing is, what makes it worse in that particular fight was, remember how bad he complained about that stoppage? Cejudo, dropped him like 3 times over and was ground and pounding him. And he complained about the stoppage so much. That pisses me off and made it even worse. He just sat there and whined about the stoppage. And instead of fighting back, he couldn't. The referee told him fight back, but he didn't. And he gets stopped and then he cries about it, knowing damn well he cheated. Piece of shit. Dude, you have to cycle off steroids and stop doing them, because after a certain while, it literally destroys yourself and organs, so your body needs to take a break. Yeah, I've heard that they're really bad for your body. Have you seen some of these bodybuilders where they're just, their bodies are completely wrecked, later in life when they get off them? I remember I used to be a big WWE fan back in like 2000, and I looked up recently, you guys remember Scott Steiner? I looked, what does he look like now? Oh my, he looks like a big old blob now. His body looks like it melted. Tim Sylvia admitted to taking steroids because he didn't like the way he looked on TV, not for performances. That's hilarious. If I was in the UFC, these fighters' position, I would 100% take something. Yeah, it comes down to they're making money off of this, They're getting money to fight in a cage, so why wouldn't they want, the best possible performance? I personally wouldn't, but, I'm kind of, the wrong person to ask, because I have very high ethics. I wouldn't want to do it. But also, even people I know who go to the gym just as normal Joe Schmoes, they're going to gym to work out and try to get, semi-muscular. There's people coming up to them and offering them steroids. Just normal, everyday people not competing in a sport. They're saying, oh, you want some of this? So there's people like prowling around Gold's Gym, Planet Fitness, offering steroids to just your average Joe Schmo. So imagine the people that are targeting these high-performance athletes. There's probably shit that we don't even know about yet that they take, and then, it's out of your system within an hour or some shit like that. Can you imagine? I wouldn't doubt it. Let's see. Scott Simon, yeah, he was definitely on something. Was Chris? Probably. I don't remember him all that much. I know who he is, but I don't remember him all that much. He used to have the master lock, but other than that, I can't remember what he looked like. I'm going to say yes, though. A lot of those WWE guys, WWF guys were. I remember my high school days. It was my barber slanging roids to the entire football team, and they went undefeated. Exactly. So if that type of shit is going on for high school football, what do you think happens in peak sports? Football, regular NFL football, MLB. We've seen the MLB has been time and time again. People have been caught and taken away their home run rewards. What sucks about that, I think, and again, there was a time in MMA and also in other sports where everybody was cheating and only some were caught. So it's very slippery slope, taking awards away from guys. And along with Hulk Hogan and Triple H starting to sag a bit, but he'll never let up. I don't think Vince will either. Yeah, they'll probably all die of a heart attack one day, would be my guess. Tom, I don't think I've seen you in any of these live streams before. Are you new? Are you subscribed? Is this the first time you found my channel or what? I don't think I've ever seen you before. But no matter what, thanks for joining us tonight. Alana, by the way, it's always nice to have you back. You've been missed. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks, I don't think. You haven't been on here in a couple weeks. Joe Rogan, definitely. I think Joe Rogan admits to using some type of steroid. Paul Daly's about to fight, by the way. I'm going to put on my headphones now. Paul Daly versus Jason Jackson. Awesome, Tom. I'm awesome. Because I do these live streams for lesser fights because I can watch on my computer and I don't really care all that much. But I also, every week, I just started, like the last 2 weeks, I've been trying to do one live chat where it's no fights going on. We just talk about whatever's going on. I've done a couple of them so far, maybe two or three of them. But I appreciate you subscribing, man. I'm trying to grow the channel. I just started the channel like 2.5 months ago. What's your take on Gregor Gillespie? I grew up with him. I don't know if he'll ever be champion, but if you look at the lightweight division, it's getting older and older and older. You got Conor at the top, who's old, not at the top, but he's an older guy. Conor's an older guy. Dustin's an older guy. Gaethje's an older guy. Khabib's retired. I think you see a future like top 5, top 10 with Gregor Gillespie, Islam Makhachev, Charles Oliveira, and again, another old name, Michael Chandler. Yeah, I think Gregor Gillespie will be around for a little while, but he's also an older guy too. So it's hard to, but I think he got into the game a little bit later. He doesn't have as much wear and tear, but I think he'll break in the top 10. He's got that dominant, unlimited stamina and dominant wrestling. Thank you, Tom. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I've been enjoying doing them. I've been enjoying doing them. But that's crazy. You grew up with him. That's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna take a break from the questions for a second. Daly versus Jason Jackson about to happen. This fight should be kind of fun. Paul Daly has that crazy knockout power. Oh, so Alana, you've been rewatching the lives. I was wondering if anybody was rewatching those or not. I leave them up because some people make them private after they do them. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave them up afterwards. But I'm happy to know somebody's rewatching them. We had a great one from Wednesday night. I was nonstop. My throat was starting to hurt. We were talking so much about different stuff. Anybody who hasn't liked the stream so far, do it right now. Like the stream, please. I appreciate it. And yes, I'm talking to you specifically, somebody who's thinking about not doing it. Please go do it. It helps grow the channel. I think I'm at like 750 subscribers now or something. Let me go check. I'm at 751 apparently. Tom must have got me to 751, I guess. But yeah, Tom, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll be doing another live chat. Same to you, Alana, and I'll schedule it a day ahead of time so you know that it's going on. And come join me so you can set a notification reminder or whatever. But I'm excited to see what Gregor Gillespie can do in the lightweight division. Jason Jackson clips Paul Daly with a right hand. I'm excited to see what Gregor Gillespie can do. That fight against Diego Ferreira was a lot of fun. Also, I'll be doing a post-fight tomorrow for UFC 263. So make sure you guys are on the lookout for that too. I always tell people to turn on notifications because I try to get it up as quick as possible. And that way you guys can get notified as soon as I post it. Tom, I am going to eventually... I'm going to eventually do some live streams for the big fights. I would love to do one tomorrow. It would actually help my channel a lot, because a lot of people would click in it and tune in. Tomorrow's an amazing fight card. But the problem is right now I only have a setup in my office and I'm watching Bellator on my laptop screen. For a fight as crazy as UFC 263, there's no way I can sit here and watch it on a computer screen. I have to go downstairs. I have to go sit in my living room and I have to watch it on my 77-inch flat screen. But eventually in the future, when I get close to over 1,000, something like that, I'm going to find some different type of setup where I can set up a TV in my office and I can watch and live stream some bigger fight cards for you guys. But I appreciate that you would like to join me to watch UFC 263. I'm super excited for tomorrow. I'm most excited probably for Figueiredo versus... I'm taking this headset. Oh, damn. I'm taking this off. It's giving me a headache. That's hilarious stuff. I'm most excited for Moreno versus Figueiredo. Just because the first fight was so good. But there's no bad fight on the card. Absolutely not. I mean, Diaz versus Leon, I'm excited for. I'm a huge Diaz fan. But I'm also not excited for it because I don't think Diaz is going to do very well in the fight. I hope the first round is competitive, but I just really think Leon's going to, even if Diaz is able to outstrike him, I think Leon will just take him down and beat him up. But yes, Alana, I will leave them up. I never planned on taking them down, but I know some people do. You know, they do the live stream. Eventually, when I grow the channel enough, I'm going to start up a Patreon, and I'm going to do members-only live streams. Like when I have a couple thousand subscribers or something, and maybe every time I do a live, I'll do regular live streams too. And there'll be like 100 people in there, 200 people in there. There'll be so many messages, you can't even read them all. And I'll start a Patreon, and you guys will be able to join it. And then I'll do like, you know, members-only live stream where there'll only be like 20 or 30 people in there. Drew Dober versus Brad Riddell should be a lot of fun as well. I think Drew Dober's a very great lightweight fighter. Islam Makhachev just made him look like a bum. I love your true love for UFC, my dude. Yeah, dude, I gotta watch it on the big screen. For a card like UFC 163 or 263, I have to be there watching. You know, everything has to be perfect. I gotta just be sitting in the comfort of my sofa watching, you know, an amazing UFC 263. It's such a great card. I mean, on the prelims alone, you got Akeem I can't even pronounce his last name right now. You got Akeem versus the other guy who I can't pronounce his last name. You got Laura Murphy versus Joanne Calderwood to decide who's going to get destroyed by Valentina Shevchenko next. You got Brad Riddell versus, how did I lose his name that quick? Drew Dober. Then you got Paul Craig versus Jamal Hill on the main card. You have Bilal Muhammad versus Damian Maia. I'm doing this from memory right now. And then you got the top 3 fights, which everyone loves. Sorry, I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. Mexico versus Brazil. Yeah, and I love Brandon Moreno, by the way. I would not mind if he won. I don't think he's going to win. Who normally more dominant in the UFC, Mexican or Brazilian fighters who have more Brazilian for sure. Is there anyone having a stream link for Bellator? Showtime is not my region. Sorry, my friend. No, but I'm watching right now. I'm gonna keep trying to do a play-by-play. The second round is starting right now. I'm reading questions as we speak. But the second round is starting. Jason Jackson was able to take down Paul Daly for the majority of the first round and just ground and pound him little by little. And Jason Jackson definitely won the first round. But sorry, I do not have a link for you. I wish I did, my friend. And I would even share it. I would put it like half the screen, but YouTube would take me down. So they would take my stream down. I heard in super high level Mexico beats Brazil on the lower level of the fights, and Brazil fighters. I'm not sure. In the UFC at least, it seems like the Brazilians have a lot more success. So that's all I can really speak to. And we'll find out. Brandon Moreno versus Devison tomorrow, and I have a feeling Devison's going to win. Devison's huge, though. It's almost cheating. Paul Daly's trotting forward, looking for big shots. Jason Jackson goes for a single leg. He takes Paul Daly down. Paul Daly's trying to use the cage to work his way back up, but he looks like he's just accepting the position. Paul Daly looks tired. He's never improved his takedown defense. Trojan, make sure you subscribe, my friend. Make sure you subscribe. Tretrick Henry, dream matchup, Wonderboy versus Holloway. That would be a lot of fun if both guys were the same size. I would love that fight. Could you imagine? I think Holloway. I think Wonderboy would win. I think Wonderboy has the better striking. But do me a favor. Tretrick Henry, this is the first time I've seen your name in the chat. Make sure you go subscribe. Yusuf says rank from 5 to 1. I think I've seen this before, but I actually forgot to answer because I was talking about something else. By the way, Jason Jackson has Paul Daly just pressed up against the cage, looking for the takedown again. I'll go. Man, I don't know. It's been so long. You know, definitely The Rock and Austin is 1 and 2. But as the others, you can put them wherever you want. I would say maybe Undertaker's 3rd, Triple H 4th, HBK 5th. But I don't know. And I didn't watch so much of it, but I know all those guys at least. I'll start watching the division again after Shevchenko retires because it's not fair because I always watch Amanda beats down. She's a great fighter to watch. Yeah, me and Yusuf I think it's me and Yusuf been talking about it. We're dying to see Valentina versus Nunes 3. It's the fight to make. Both girls are so good and they're beating up the level of competition. So I would love to see them fighting. How about Drew Dober versus Wonderboy? Battle of the Chads. Yeah, very true. Drew Dober just looks like a total Chad. Yeah, the Brazilians are definitely produce more winners in the UFC. Yup. Josh, what's going on, man? How are you doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you in the live chat. I hope life's treating you good. Love you videos randomly. I love you videos randomly found your channel and just always came back to watch. Appreciate it, man. I'm glad you're loving the videos. It's really always great to hear that. So I'm just a hardcore MMA fan. Wanted to start a channel, and I got a few people who are dedicated to watching already, which is insane to me. So I'm happy to hear you guys are enjoying the content. I'm slowly improving with different things, with live streams. I know a lot of people like live streams, so that's why I've been trying to get on live streams better and better and better. You know, do one chat a week. And I'm doing some. I like to live stream for shitty fight cards because I don't really feel. To be honest, I don't even feel like watching Bellator right now. But it makes it more enjoyable talking to you guys while watching Bellator. Hopefully we'll see it soon. Yes. Hell yeah. Good looks, brother. Doing well. Amp for 263. I think we're all amped for 263. I am so excited. Yeah, if the Chinese start really coming on strong in MMA and the UFC, there'll be a lot of monsters. Weili's a monster. Even though she got slept by Rose, she's a monster. And some of them just seem like, you have Li J Ling or whatever, however you pronounce his name. At welterweight, he's a killer. He just knocked out Santiago Ponzinibbio. Zhang losing was absolutely crazy. Crazy. But Rose has done that. That's the second time she's done that. Came out and surprised people. I remember somebody asked me, I think it was Yusuf, saying, do I think, because a lot of people were picking Weili Zhang to win that fight, and a lot of people were saying, I think it was Yusuf that said, should I be worried about Rose? And I said, I'm picking Weili, but I think you should be worried because Rose is so good. And she showed it in that fight. She landed that head kick right on the jaw. That was the fight I was most looking forward to this year in general. At the end of last year, I was most looking forward to Weili Zhang versus Rose Namajunas. And I wish it would have lasted longer. So I hope we see a rematch. It sucks that, it was so short. But I'm hoping we see a rematch. And I'd like to see it play out a little bit longer. By the way, guys, if you got any friends that are into MMA, send them my channel and force them to subscribe. I'm trying to find my way. I'm inching and clawing my way to 1,000 subscribers. I'm just inching and clawing my way, and I really want to get there. So if you guys know anybody that likes to watch MMA content, send them my channel and tell them to subscribe, but only if they're going to watch. So, yeah, I was just shocked for Zhang losing. Then that's why I know when she comes back, it's going to be scary. Maybe I read that wrong, but that hurt my brain. Yeah, when she comes back, she's going to be more, fired up than anything. So I would love to see the rematch. I would kill for a Zhang Rose rematch. Yeah, I think we all will. And I think that's the fight that's going to happen. There's a lot of people talking about Carla Esparza in a rematch, but I don't think that's going to happen at all. They asked Rose if she was going to have a war with Weili, and Rose was confident, and she said she wasn't because she is more precise than Joanna. Very true. I should have really saw that coming, honestly, because the fight between Joanna and Wei Li was super close. And Rose is just so pinpoint precision, and she has very, what's the word I'm looking for? People underestimate her power. She looks unassuming. She looks like this skinny 115-pound woman, and she has knockout power. So, by the way, I know I didn't have a YouTube channel then, so you guys can believe me or not believe me. I would have no reason to lie. I picked Rose to beat Joanna in both fights, and in the original one, I picked her to win by knockout. I really believed in Rose striking. So I don't know if I fell into the Wei Li Zhang hype or whatnot when I picked her, but I just thought I said in my prediction video, which is on this channel, I thought that Rose would win the first and maybe partial of the second round. But I thought as Wei Li chipped away at her, I think she would eventually fade, and then Wei Li would finish her in the later rounds. I think I said fourth round TKO. So, but Rose came out there and put everything to bed. Wei Li just wasn't defensively responsible. She got clipped right on the chin, put to sleep. By the way, Jason Jackson is just taking Paul Daly down and laying on him. A little bit of ground and pound, but the fight is terrible for anyone that cares. Let's see. I won $48 on Zhang versus Rose. Congratulations, man. I'm proud of you. Good job. I don't really bet at all, so I don't win anything. I think a lot of people underestimated Rose, by the way. MMA math don't work. Andrade broke Rose's nose. Yeah, true. MMA doesn't work, but you can look at different fights and try to predict the future. It's not necessarily MMA math. It's MMA algebra, my friend. Andrade doesn't and will never have anything for Rose. Yeah. But if that would have been a 5-round fight in that second fight between the two, I think Andrade would have finished her. When Rose starts to eat some strikes and some accumulation, she starts to really fade and her skill level starts to decrease, and that's what happens. I think that 3-round rematch between Andrade and Rose would have went to Andrade if it would have went 5 rounds. Carla Esparza is next for Rose. They're doing the whole champ versus ex-champ rematch angle. And plus Carla has a win over. But I think they're going to go with Wei Li Zhang if the timing is right. I think the UFC likes Wei Li Zhang. Yeah, Daly's getting dominated, my friend. That's why I'm not saying too much. He's just basically getting taken down. And Jason Jackson is just laying on him in his full guard. Paul Daly has a closed guard. He's not even trying to get up. And since I've been talking about it, not a single strike has been thrown. The referee just stood him up. That's how bad the fight is. That's why I haven't really been saying much. Paul Daly has pretty much lost every second of the fight. They just stood him back up, and there's 1 minute to go in the third round. So there's your breakdown of the fight. But it's basically been Paul Daly rushing forward, getting taken down, and laid on. But I think Carla Esparza may get passed over, depending on timing. What should you order from Taco Bell? I'm not a huge Taco Bell fan, but I'll say Crunchwrap Supreme or Chicken Quesadilla. Another takedown attempt from Jason Jackson. Paul Daly goes down like he's Carlos Condit. Has about the same level of takedown defense as Carlos Condit, and he just looks helpless. Who do you think's taking the belt from Rose? That is a very good question. I think if Wei Li Zhang can't take the belt from her, it's going to be hard to find someone to take the belt from her. I don't know who would. I really don't know who would. Let me look up. This fight is just trash. The fight just ended. Paul Daly lost every round. Both guys are hugging it out afterwards. That was the worst fight ever. I don't want to see them hug at all. So let me take a look, see. I think there's a chance that Carla could take it from her. Because I think the best path to victory of beating Rose is to take her down and hold her down. I don't believe, anybody should be standing in front of Rose. I think she has the best striking in the division. I wouldn't mind seeing a future fight. Mackenzie Dern, if she can win her next fight, I think she's fighting Marina Rodriguez. The winner of Marina Rodriguez versus Mackenzie Dern, I think they're fighting. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they could take it off. So I think there's chance. I think Mackenzie Dern, because Carla Esparza, Rose was able to be taken down by Carla, so I would like to see her takedown defense tested some more. But if Mackenzie Dern can get her down, I think there's a chance she could submit her. So, let's see. Hilarious. Uh, Apple Empalada from Taco Bell is the bomb. I've never even heard of it. Where are you from, Tom? What state are you in or country are you in? That's hilarious, Alana, about the don't order anything or you'll be in the bathroom all night. Tony Brown, what's going on, man? I hope you're doing well. I I appreciate you stopping in. Yeah, it might be the only one, Yusuf. Yeah, but when I started to think it was only Wei Lee, but when you really look at the division, there's a lot of people who could snatch that belt off of Rose. I think Wei Lee can. I don't think Joanna can, as we've seen in 2 other fights. I think Carla could. Yan Shannon, don't think she can. Marina Rodriguez, I believe she could, but I'm not confident in it. I would pick Rose to beat her, but I'm saying I think she would have a chance. And Mackenzie Dern could. Other than that, I don't see anyone else. I'm surprised female UFC is a new thing. It's equally as entertaining as the male fight. Yeah, I used to be a person who wasn't a big fan of women's MMA, and it wasn't because it was women's fighting. It was because the skill level of a lot of the women was very low in the beginning. They just hadn't, it's not that the men are better than women. It's just the women were relatively new to the sport. So, if you look back at MMA in the early 1990s and the early 2000s, and you compare it to the MMA that we have today, those guys look terrible. You look back to like Rich Franklin, and some of the other guys, I can't really think of any off the top of my head. They were nowhere near the level of guys we have today. So the women need that time to kind of evolve and get their time in the sport. And over the last couple of years, it has significantly improved. Like I know Ronda was the first champion. Ronda was a bum when it really came down to it, as far as well-rounded mixed martial artist. So, but I will never be one of these people to say, "Oh, women fighting, blah blah blah." Some of these women's fights, if it's a trash woman fight, like both girls are bums, I'll call it as it is. Same with men's fight. But there is some women's fights that I am, equally as excited. I was more excited for Rose Namajunas versus Weili Zhang than I was for any fight this year as far as what was announced back in early January. When I looked forward, my favorite fight announced was Weili Zhang versus Rose Namajunas. Yeah, it's funny how Dana was so adamant that he wasn't going to have a women's division. Now he's singing a different tune. Yes, it's hilarious. It really is hilarious. He realized that they can draw. I don't think he thought they could make him any money. And then he realized Ronda Rousey could. And it opened up a whole new game. And now they have a whole nother batch of fighters that they can throw on cards, I like Zhang over Shannon all day. Yeah, same do I. So do I. I think Yang can beat Rose. Her only weakness is taking on defense, and Rose ain't taking her down. Yeah, I don't know. I think Rose would outstrike her, Yusuf. Sorry. I'm in Pouts Keepsy, Tom. Oh, that's in New York, I guess. Shannon, way more technical striker than Wei Lee. Nice, Alana. That's super upstate. Rose is dangerous everywhere. People don't realize she's a very high-level grappler, and we all know how good her striking is. Yeah, her striking is definitely her biggest strength. But I can't get over until I see it, addressed in a fight. It's hard for me to forget that Carla Esparza, take down and just held down for every round and eventually submitted. So I would like to see that. I also think Weili would beat the brakes off of Yan Shannon. Bellator had a really exciting women's fight because one of the girls was really hot and wearing booty shorts and a skirt. I don't know who you're talking about. I must have missed this one. But I have been kind of off of Bellator because they've been putting together a lot of freak show fights. But that I don't know what Paul Daly said. I wasn't even listening to it. But I don't know why he's holding his hands up. That was an absolutely atrocious fight. I think next up is the main event, but I'm not 100% sure yet. But would you guys rather see Rose versus Carla Esparza? Or would you rather see Rose versus Weili too? I'm kind of torn because Carla definitely deserves a title shot. And as much as I want to see that fight run back, just to see if Rose can address the weaknesses she's had in the past and beat Carla, I also really badly want to see Rose versus Weili. That knockout happened so early. I would like to see the fight play out a little bit more. But also, I kind of don't want to see Rose versus Weili, because if Rose beats her again, then Weili goes to strawweight purgatory, and we never know if she'll ever get another shot again. Joey, the only person who can beat everyone at 115 is Tatiana Suarez. If she comes back to the division, third most dominant woman at WMMA fighter. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to gauge her. I haven't seen her enough to really feel like, she's so great or so bad. I think Rose beats Carla. I mean, she works with Usman and Gaethje. I'm sure she can defend Osvaldo's takedown. Yeah, it's been a while since that first fight. I would probably pick Rose. But I'd like to see it, I'd like to see those concerns addressed. I would definitely like to see that addressed. And that was such a long time ago, that original fight happened. So you're probably right. She knows that's her weakness, so she's worked on it significantly. I'm a pretty big Rose fan after the Zhang fight. She won my respect. I was always a big Rose fan. But I was a big Weili fan as well. But I picked Weili because I truly thought she would win, not because I was her fan. I've been trying to make my predictions. I have. I've been making my predictions based off of, I try to leave all bias out of it. What do I think is going to happen and who do I think is going to win? I'd rather see Rose versus Suarez. She deserves a title shot. How does she deserve a title shot? Who has she beaten? It's been so long since she's even fought, Yusuf. So I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, my friend. Maybe I'm missing something. Did you see Ortega called out Covington and said he wants to fight him at 165? Sign me up, my friend. That'd be a freak show fight I would tune in for. Oh, I wanted to check something. I know what I wanted to check. Hold on. Let's see. Guys, I believe you can be smart when it comes to MMA and you can still be terrible at predictions. You never know what's going to happen in a fight. But can you believe my streak for this year? I have 15 right and only 3 wrong in main events. On all the main events for every year, for all year, all 2021. I'm 15-3. And I picked Conor McGregor against Dustin, so I got that wrong. I picked Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis, and I got that wrong. And I picked Cody Garbrandt versus Rob Font, and I got that wrong. But other than that, 15 right, that is an amazing performance. I'm so proud of that. And I'm 7-2 when it comes to title fights. That's the only 2 I've been tracking, main events and title fights. And the 2 title fights that I got wrong were Weili, and I also got Peter Yan wrong. But I shouldn't even count that, really. Also, I remember Ortega getting popped for some type of PEDs, and he never really addressed it, which kind of turned me off. That was a few years back. And also, it's hard to really believe in Ortega after he got the break speed off him by Max Holloway. My strategy when I bet on women's UFC is to bet on the more attractive girl. Okay, I don't know if that's such a great strategy, but if that's what's helping you win. Ortega is a massive featherweight. He would look really healthy at 165, and his ground game is nasty, but who knows? Colby has held his own against decent grapplers, but no one on the level of Ortega. Well, also, we've seen what Max Holloway did to Ortega. And not that I'm saying, Covington is Max Holloway, but it's the same volume and pressure, So I think Ortega would probably fade. But I think Ortega has improved his striking enough where Colby Covington's striking isn't that great. It's just predicated on the volume and pressure. And maybe he could outstrike Colby. Colby would look for a takedown and Ortega would submit him. Who do you pick, Adesanya or Vettori? I did an entire breakdown and prediction video. It's on my channel. Feel free to watch it. But I'll tell you who I picked right here as well. I picked Adesanya by second round TKO. But if you get a chance, go check out the video. It's like a 20-minute video. I did a great breakdown on it. I hope I did a great breakdown on it. Suarez deserves a title shot. She was second ranked and on a 5-fight win streak and got injured, and Whaley got the title shot instead of her. I forgot, like who did she even fight at that point? I'm trying to remember. She's been out for so long. It's like I always forget about her. I forget she even exists. Okay, so she beat Carla Esparza was her best win, but she hasn't fought since June of 2019. So I really think she has to, come back and get a big win before we can really, give her a title shot. I think so. Chandler fight was a banger. Dude, the Chandler fight was one of my favorite fights of this year so far. For only being a round, one round in like 20 seconds, that was one of the best fights I've ever seen. So many momentum swings. Both guys super high level. Moments where each guy was get close to being stopped. The way Charles Oliveira survived was just insanity. He was bobbing his head on the ground, flipped to his back. And then the way Chandler got clipped and started trying to run off and Oliveira was tracking him down, that was one of the best fights I've seen in a while and so much fun. Tom, if you ever get a chance, not that I'm trying to tell you to do this, but if you get a chance, go back and watch my post-fight for that. I was so happy about that fight. That fight was so much fun. Who do you think will win, Lima or Amosov? I'm going to go with Lima. I just think Lima is so good. But I'm not super familiar with Amosov, but I'm going Douglas Lima. A lot of guys aren't good strikers and just throw stuff out there like Colby, Yuri, Aljo. And that's about it, but it works. But it would never work against high-level strikers in their division. Yeah, but I like Yuri's striking. I know it's super dangerous, but I like his striking. So I wouldn't lump him in there with Colby and Aljo. Colby and Aljo are just, terrible strikers who are just spamming. Where I feel like Yuri is a more measured approach. And he's not looking for grappling. He's just looking to take a guy's head off. So I think it's different. Check out Kana Wannabe versus Alejandro Lara. That's the woman's fight I was talking about. Okay, I'll have to remember. Let me take a picture of that real quick. I'll look it up tomorrow or tonight if I get a chance. Take a picture of that real quick. It ended in the first round. He would have won. Okay. I'm a newbie to the UFC and only got into it because of Gregor Gillespie. That's crazy, man. How new are you in it? Well, what's the first event you started watching? By the way, the main event is getting ready to start. They're doing their walkouts right now. If anybody's curious about that. But how recent are you getting into the UFC? That's crazy, but I'm happy to have you on the channel, man. I'm a longtime fan, but I try to break down stuff in a way that other people will understand, even if you're not super current with it. You know what I mean? You don't have the history of watching all the previous fights. So I'm happy you found my channel. The GOAT title, we were actually talking about that earlier. I would probably give it to John Jones, but I do hate to give it to him just based on the PED problems. That's funny, see? But I think John Jones is probably the GOAT, but I hate to see, the PED issues. It really sucks. But you have the same thing with Anderson Silva, but at the time everyone was taking him. So it's hard, but if you want to exclude anyone who's positive for PEDs, I guess you have to go GSP. But I think John Jones was fighting nothing but killers for a long, long time, and it's hard to not, say that he's one of the greatest. But hey, everyone go like the video right now. Please, just go like the video. If you're in here, go like it. I appreciate you, Cobra Commander. You're the man. And if you guys want to, let me type this out in the chat. Tomorrow night, I won't be live streaming, but I'll be tweeting out. I'll be live tweeting the event. If you guys want to go follow me on Twitter, here you go. It's at MMA Joey C. So if you guys want to go subscribe, if you want to go follow me on Twitter, I will be live tweeting UFC 263 tomorrow. I keep wanting to call it 163. I don't know why. Only 1 year, being dedicated to learn and pay attention. It's such a fun sport, man. When you have, I know a lot of people. Yeah, Douglas Lima is walking out right now. I'll tell you as soon as they start announcing him, and I'm actually going to pay attention to this fight. So, but what was I saying now? Only 1 year. I know a lot of people like those crazy brawls and Diego Sanchez, Gilbert Melendez throwdown, which is just a crazy slugfest. But my favorite types of fights are when you have guys who are two of the best in the world and you have no fucking clue who's going to win. And the back and forth and, super technical and maybe one guy gets clipped and another guy goes after, you know what I mean? They're my favorite fights, and there's nothing better. When you have a fight where you have two guys are two of the best in the world, there's nothing more exciting, in my opinion, than that. Douglas Lima is walking out right now. I can't watch baseball after watching an exciting MMA fight. The thing about baseball, I like baseball, right? But what happens is there's so many games, there's almost no importance. There's no importance to the games, if that makes sense, until the playoffs. When I put these on, I lose my focus. Until the playoffs, there's nothing crazy. How would Lima do in the UFC? I think Lima would be able to compete in the UFC very well. I think Lima could be top 10 for sure. He would definitely be top 10. I'll say that. They are just about to start announcing the main event fighters. I would say roughly 3 minutes until the fight starts, and I will tell you the second the fight starts, my friend. But anybody who's in here, if you're not subscribed, make sure you go subscribe. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, that's how I was. I started watching and I just got obsessed with it. And I've been like that for years. And I've actually been wanting to start a YouTube channel for years, but just never had the motivation or, was too nervous to do it. And I finally did it. And I've been having a lot of fun. And I want to have my own little MMA community where we can all get in here, whether it's commenting on videos or it's live chats or it's live streams watching the fights. We can all get in here and kind of talk to each other about MMA and have fun. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt if he was in the top 5. He would definitely be in the top 10, but I would not doubt if he was in the top 5 as well. So I agree with you, Dante Zero. Dante Zero, are you subscribed, man? If you're not, go subscribe. This is the first time I've seen you. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Yeah, I think Douglas Lima would probably beat Vicente Luque. He could probably beat Vicente Luque. Oh, man, I don't know. They might ban me. They might take my live stream down. But maybe I'll put a little bit at a time and let you hear it. Because if you put any video or live stream from a live event, they'll take your live stream down. And that's the last thing I need to happen. Yeah, Douglas Lima is an amazing fighter. I hope we see him in UFC one day, but I don't know if we will. He's already getting older. And I'm going to actually really pay attention to this fight, guys. So, here we go. They're just about to start the main event. They're in the center of the cage. Dan Miragliotta is telling them the rules, protect yourself at all times, all that poor shit. They said touch gloves and make it official. They touched gloves, and here we go. 2. All right, here we go for the welterweight belt. They're not starting fighting yet. They're waiting. They're closing up the cage, getting the cameras out. The fight is about to begin. I'm going to tell you exactly when it's going to begin. I wonder if Douglas Lima is going to finish him early. Guys, like the stream if you haven't already. Fight is beginning. They touch gloves. Here we go. Both guys. Amosov's in the center. Lima's kind of a little bit on the outside now. Both guys are really in the center. Both guys look like they're really feeling each other out. Lima's the one moving forward. Let's see what's going on. Lima's kind of pressing forward. Nobody's throwing any strikes yet. It's about 4 minutes and 30 seconds in the first round. When can you monetize? You can monetize after 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. And apparently, most people, nothing's really happening right now. There's nowhere to watch the fight other than Showtime, but I'm gonna be commentating. I'll let you know what's going on in the fight. Nothing's really happened right now. Now Amosov is pushing forward, but believe it or not, I already have 7,000 watch hours. So most people get to 1,000 subscribers before they get to 4,000 watch hours. I'm at 700 some subscribers. I'm at like almost 8,000 watch hours. So I'm at more than double. And you need the 4,000 hours in 1 year, and I got it in 2 months. I have double that. They're both in the center of the octagon right now, really feeling each other out. Amosov just landed a nice leg kick, but nothing crazy. Anybody who hasn't subscribed, make sure you go subscribe. Let's see what I'm at right now. I'm at 756, so some of you guys must have subscribed. Nasty body kick. Nice jab by Douglas Lima, but both guys are still feeling each other out. Both guys are in yellow shorts. Who approved this shit? I don't like this at all. Both guys just standing and fainting at each other in the center of the cage. Lima's the one pressing forward. We're at 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Amosov's looking for a takedown. He gets Lima down. Lima immediately posted up on one knee. Got his back against the cage, using it to get him up. Amosov is still fighting to keep him down, but it looks like Lima's going to find his way up. Lima is up. He takes him down again, though, this time in the center of the cage, and he's in full guard. Lima's on his back in the center of the cage, closed guard. Not even looking like he's trying to get up. Amosov is not really throwing too much ground and pound, just a little bit here and there. A little couple baby punches. Now he's beating up the body. He's going body, head. But yeah, Lima taken right down. He got back up, but then he got lifted and taken down in the center of the cage. Amosov looking to pin the hand, but he just pinned Lima's hand behind his back. So Lima only has one hand right now. He's got it underneath his back, and he's reached underneath, and it looks like he's holding Lima's glove. Lima gets his arm back. Even Lima's corner's yelling. He was grabbing inside the glove. Amosov just lands a nice elbow. 5 rounds, my friend. 5 rounds. Nothing's really happening right now. Douglas Lima's got a closed guard. He's not doing anything to try to get up. I hate when you see guys like that. When they don't even try to get up. Amosov not really raining down any ground and pound. Would not doubt. It's not close to this yet, but I would not doubt if the ref stands him up. Lima's got a closed guard, not even trying to get up. Lima's throwing some strikes from the bottom, but nothing really too eventful is happening. Just full guard. Amosov's not even trying to advance position at all. Now Douglas Lima has a body triangle from the bottom. What the fuck? Lima's just hanging there. Nice elbow from the bottom from Lima. I don't know why he's body triangling him from bottom. You're just keeping him on top of you. He doesn't even want to get up. He's fighting like Kevin Holland right now. If this fight looks anything else like that, nothing's really happening right now. They're just Amosov's in full guard right now, just doing nothing. Lima's not trying to get up at all. There's no damage really happening to either guy. I would not be surprised if this gets stood up soon, but there's only 15 seconds left, so my guess is it's just going to go to the second round. Amosov takes the first round without a doubt. 10 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. First round was terrible. Amosov wins the first round. First round has ended. What's going on, Dave Lagonis? What is going on, my friend? How are you doing? Everybody in here like the video, and if you're not subscribed, go subscribe. Dave, we are at 756 subscribers right now, my friend. You were here at like 20. Lima saving energy, I guess. Yeah, I guess so, but he never even tried to get up. It was embarrassing. He was fighting like Kevin Holland versus Derek Brunson. He just accepted the position. The second he got taken down, he closed guard and he never really opened it back up. What's weird is, maybe I'm just imagining things, but Amosov looked like he's exhausted. And he didn't even do nothing on top. All right, we're getting ready for the second round. Big Rocker Johnson, what's going on? Like the stream for me, my friend. We're in the second round of Douglas Lima versus Amosov. All right, second round has started. Both guys in the center of the cage looking at each other. Douglas Lima's pressing forward. He looks super tentative because he's scared of the takedown, it looks like. Yeah, Amosov looks tired. I'm not super familiar with him, but he looks tired already. He didn't do that much in the first round. I would like to see Lima start chopping that lead leg. I feel like that lead leg's there for the taking. He just feinted a leg kick. Let's see. Lima's pressing forward, but he's super tentative to throw because he's scared of getting taken out. He just threw a nice combination, but he didn't land anything. Big overhand right by Amosov misses. Nothing's really happened. This fight's kind of boring right now, but it is a 5-round fight. What's more popular, Bellator or One? I think Bellator, but one is popular in Asia. It's based over in Asia, but I would say Bellator is probably more popular. Nothing's really going on right now. And why did Bellator let them both wear yellow shorts? I hate the look of that. Lima's just pressing forward. Nobody's really done anything in this second round. Head kick by Amosov misses, lands to the chest. JS, what's going on, man? You have the longest YouTube name I ever seen. Amosov looking for the takedown. He got the body lock, and he's about to get Lima down again. He gets Lima down. Lima's down yet again. Another takedown. JS. I think this is the first time I've seen your name. Make sure you go subscribe. Help me get to 1,000. Dave Lagonis says, if you get one video that pops off, you could do 1,500 in June. I was talking about 200 by the end of May, and I was over 700 by the end of May. So I believe everything you say, Dave. Okay. Sure, everything's still good. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, I think I did see your name before. I didn't know. One, I've heard some sketchy thing about One. Like they're giving away free tickets. Most of their tickets for free and shit. So I don't know how popular they are. But Dave, you know what I can't wait for? I can't wait to see you in the chat when I'm at 10,000 subs. When you're like, dude, I remember when you were at 19 or whatever I was at when you came here. What do you think about Karate Combat? I'm not sure. What is that? I must have missed something. Lima's just on the ground, getting ground and pound up against the cage. But it's not anything really too significant, you know? Lima's got his back against the cage. I hope he finds his way to his feet. I just can't believe, you know, could you imagine what Usman would do to him if this is what happened to him against Amosov? All right, Dave, I'm going to hold you to that. We're going to talk about it in December. I thought maybe you had left, Dave. I started blowing up a little bit, and I hadn't seen you for a while. Are you, Dave? You been watching all the videos and stuff? I know you always join in the lives, but I don't know. Are you watching the regular videos? Lima's finding his way to his feet, but he gets taken down again. Lima has no answer. He's wrapping up the legs too. Douglas Lima is offering zero resistance. From what I'm seeing, Amosov's going to win this fight. I have no faith in Lima anymore. Lima's going back to his feet again. Amosov's got the leg, looking for the takedown. 30 seconds to go. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. I was just curious. Maybe I'll throw an Easter egg in one of these longer videos and just see if you're really watching. Douglas Lima's losing his pants. His pants are below his ass. He's pulling them up. He's in the clinch work and he was reaching back and pulling up his pants. This is a terrible fight. All right, who else in this chat watches all my video and likes them all? Because I gotta write your name down so when I end up getting like 100,000 subs, I can remember you, and I can make sure I always answer your questions in the chat. So let me know for sure. Amosov looks tired as hell though, and he's not even doing much. And guys, do me a favor. I know there's some people in here who have not liked the live stream yet. Go like it, please. Help me grow the channel. All right, Tom. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. How many accounts do you have, Tom? I don't need a couple hundred subs, but I just need, if you got a couple accounts, you sub. Because the views the views are what really count. The people that are consistently watching. Dave, Yusuf was here earlier. I'm not sure if he's here now. Third round is about to begin for anyone who cares. In the center of the cage. Lima's pressing forward. Looks super flat-footed. Lima looks like he's scared to let his hands go because he's too scared of the takedown. Dave, are you watching UFC 263 tomorrow? Where's Joshua Fabio? I wish we could have Joshua Fabio on here. I would love to interview him. That'd be hilarious. I don't know. It's hard to say because Amosov is dominating right now, but he's looking like he's getting tired. Lima's pressing forward. There's 4 minutes and 18 seconds in the third round. Lima's just pressing forward, but he's very conservative with his strikes. He's terrified of overcommitting and getting taken down. Shay Williams. I think this is the first time I've seen your name in the live chat. Are you one of those people who watches all the videos and likes and joins the live chat, but you don't ever like to comment or say anything in the live chat? Because that was me as a consumer on YouTube. I never commented on any videos. I watched live chats, but I never said anything in the live chat. So is that you? Lima's terrified of the takedown. I don't know what the live odds are, but for me, I'll tell you what my live odds are. I'll say I think 65% Amosov wins, a 35% Lima wins. Lima just can't let anything go because he's scared of getting taken down. He's not stepping into anything. Lima gets single-legged again, but he's defending this one. He's up against the fence. He's got the underhook. He's defending it. Knee to the body. It looked like it hurt Amosov, too. Lima's hitting him against the cage. Hammer fist against the cage while he's looking for the takedown. Looks like he's about to get taken down, though. He's trying hard to stuff the takedown, but he's going to get taken down anyway. He's taken down. He's on the ground with closed guard now, and this is how the rest of the round is going to go. Lima just has closed guard. Now he has the body triangle from the bottom. He's not trying to get up. He's lost 3 rounds straight now. Lima is looking like a bum right now. Talent too fresh. Are you watching the fight live right now, or are you just listening to me? He's not doing anything. He has worse takedown defense and worse. He couldn't be worse from his back than Kevin Holland. This is trash. 1 minute and 54 seconds in the third round left. Betway odds Lima 4.5, almost 1.5. Okay. Amosov's not even doing much. He's just starting to open up some punches to the body on the ground. Nice elbow from Lima from the bottom. Oh, now he punched. He was punching Lima. Lima turned his head, got punched in the back of the head. And so now they stood him back up. So Dan Miragliotta stood him up. Thank you, Talent Too Fresh. It was like 2 soft punches on the back of the head. But it was Amosov's problem. He wasn't looking, and Lima turned his head. So he just started punching him in the back of the head. So now they're back on the feet. Lima gets a gift there. Amosov looks tired, but Lima doesn't look too fresh either. And Lima's just plotting forward. But none of his strikes looks like it almost looks like he's scared to death to throw anything. Nice leg kick by Amosov. Alana, I never really understand betting too much. I think, I'm not sure. Someone in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong. I think negative 500 means if you bet 500 to win 100. If it's positive 500, you bet 100 to win 500. About to end the round. Lima's just pressing forward but not landing anything. Scared of the takedown. End of the third round. This fight is terrible, guys. Terrible. Guys, I appreciate you all joining me for this live stream, though. I really do. I think it's going to be this Wednesday. I'm going to do a live chat. So make sure you guys come join me then. It'll be either Tuesday or Wednesday. I've been doing them on Wednesday because that's what's worked out. But I'll schedule them 24 hours ahead of time. And if you see the video in your feed, you can click on it and then hit set reminder. Lima looks tired as hell too. His corner's like screaming at him. Very true, Crypto King. Very true. Very, very true. I didn't watch that, though, but I heard. Lima's got his hands on his hips. The 4th round's about to start. Amosov looks terribly tired. They touch gloves. They're in the center of the cage. Anybody who hasn't liked the video already, make sure to go like the video. And if you're not subscribed, go subscribe right now. Lima's pressing forward yet again. Seems like the same thing from every round. Amosov feints a takedown. Lima immediately backs up like crazy. He backed the whole way up through the cage. As soon as he feinted that takedown, he ran backwards as far as possible. Lima's about to get taken down again. He's got it. He's got the body. He's got the single leg. Lima's defending it, though. Shay Williams, thanks for joining us. He's going to get Lima again, but Lima found his way back to the cage, using it to get up. He's back to his feet. Dana White's definitely not watching this. He's probably gambling or drinking, would be my guess. He takes him down in the center of the cage yet again. Let's see what we got going on here. This fight is trash, guys. Lima's going to lose. He's going to lose 5 rounds. So, let's say it's positive 500. So, if you bet 100 to win 500, if you bet 150, you would win 750 because you would take the amount in a half. You know what I mean? So half of 100 is 50, so half of 500 is 250, and then you bet 100, so it would be 750. If that makes sense. I think that's how it works. I'm 90% sure that's how it works, but I don't pay attention to betting at all. I don't like MMA betting channels. I don't like people who talk about MMA betting and this was a good play and that's a bad play. I like to try to look at it from a fan's perspective. Try to give breakdowns on what I think is going to happen. But I don't like those channels that all they do is talk about betting nonstop. That from a consumer, from an MMA fan, I don't like watching those type of stuff. Yeah, Dana White's definitely in the casino somewhere right now. Just on the ground yet again, nothing's happening. Yeah, drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes with Keith Peterson for sure. Lima's going to lose his belt tonight, my friends. And it's not even a good performance by Amosov. I would have no problem if they said neither one of these guys are champions after this fight. This is atrocious. And by the way, I take it back. Douglas Lima will get wrecked by Vicente Luque. Douglas Lima would get, let me tell you, he would get wrecked by Usman. He would get wrecked by Covington. He would get wrecked by Burns. He would get wrecked by Edwards. He would get wrecked by Thompson. He would get wrecked by Luque. He would get wrecked by Chiesa. He might have a chance against Jorge Masvidal, and that's it. Crypto King says, I won the lotto when I was 17. How much did you win? I'm curious. Let us know. I'm very, very curious. That sounds about right when you're 17. What state are you in that you're even allowed to claim lotto winnings at 17? You can't win until you're 18 in most states, as far as I understand. But that had to be awesome. How much was it? I'm curious. 20K, and you spent that shit immediately, I bet. Did you buy anything that you still have, or you just wasted all on stupid shit? I feel like a lot of 17-year-olds would waste the shit. And Crypto King, did you just find my channel tonight, or you been a subscriber? Oh, so you bought it, and then you had your parents claim it. Did they try to take any of it, or did they give you the whole 20K, or whatever it was after taxes? Whew, I don't know about Diaz. When 4th round is over, my friends. Terrible fight. Yeah, Diaz is getting smoked for sure. Douglas Lima needs a finish. Shea Williams, you think Diaz is going to win? I'm genuinely curious. All right, here we go. 5th round. Lima needs a stoppage. He's lost all 4 rounds. Crypto King, did you just find my channel tonight, or have you been a subscriber? I'm genuinely curious. Yeah, Wonder Boy would destroy Lima. Were you saying Diaz would beat Lima? Is that what you were saying? Because I think Diaz would beat Lima. I don't believe in Lima at all after this performance. This has been atrocious. And he has no sense of urgency. He's lost all 4 rounds. He doesn't even care. But it's hard to say that when you're scared of getting taken down. He's not even feinting any knees. He's got his back against the cage right now. He's about to get taken down again. As soon as this guy shoots on him. How many alt accounts do you have, Tom? That's the real question. And why so many accounts? Lima has to get the KO to win for sure. Okay, yeah, I think Diaz gets finished in the 3rd. So I think he will last 2 rounds. Lima's not throwing anything. Holy shit! Why do you have that many channels, bro? What is the purpose? Okay, Shay, I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep your prediction in mind. I have 2 YouTube channels, my personal channel and the one I run this channel on. I don't post any videos on my personal channel though. Taken down again. This fight is over. What a terrible fight. I'm not even wearing this anymore. Oh, so you made mad accounts to troll people? That's crazy. All right, guys, start throwing UFC 263 questions in the chat because Douglas Lima has lost every second of this fight, and I'm not watching it anymore. So throw out some topics for UFC 263. Any questions? Any true or false questions? I'd like to answer those too. As many questions as physically possible. Put them in the chat right now. If you're listening to this and you don't want to put a question, make up a question. Because this fight is just terrible. I can't watch any more of it. So we can talk about UFC 263, Nate Diaz, any up-and-coming fights. Does Damian Maia retire if he loses? Yes, without a doubt. I think he retires if he loses. I think a lot of people are picking against him, but I think Damian Maia is going to get it done. The only people to beat Damian Maia have been people who have gone on to win championships. You know, you look at it, you look at Usman, you look at Colby. There's just so many guys that beat him and then go on to win championships. I just don't think Bilal is going to be able to beat him. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I think Damian Maia will get him down and will submit him. Damian Maia is an amazing grappler, and he has decent takedowns. You know, I know he hasn't done great in the past, but I'm picking him to win. But I think a lot of people are picking Bilal. I'm not high on Bilal at all. Is the Moreno fight for a title? Yes. Moreno versus Davison is for the flyweight title. They fought in December. It was a super close fight. Davison probably should have won the fight, but he had a point deducted because of a groin shot. So it ended up being a draw. So neither guy won the fight. Davison keeps his title. In a draw, the champion keeps their title. And the UFC booked a rematch. So yes, it is for a belt. Liam will finish Nate within 3 rounds. No way it gets to 4. No. I think he finishes him in the 3rd round. I think Nate Diaz is super durable. Oh, Douglas Lima's looking for an armbar with 42 seconds to go. It looks tight too, but he's got him pressed up. He's doing the great defense. Imagine if he pulls off this submission. Oh, he might get this. He's got it, but Amosov's just holding the pressure and not doing anything. Oh, he's out of it. Okay. I think Nate is super durable, but I don't think he's going to be able to take the beating for 5 rounds. I think it either gets doctor stoppage or I think it's a TKO for Leon Edwards. I think my official prediction was Leon Edwards by 3rd round TKO. The fight just ended, Alana Peterson. The fight just ended on my end, to answer your question. I saw it right as it popped up. I also think he wins. Okay. Okay, awesome. JS, do you think this match was match fixing? What do you mean? Do you think it was set up? We all want Nate Diaz to win. Yeah, I think most people like Nate Diaz. I don't know. I love Nate Diaz. I don't know if I really want either guy to win. He is in his 11-19. Just like Diaz was supposed to lose against Conor the first time, it's possible for Diaz. It's not going to be a landslide by Edwards, I hope anyway. Yeah, I think most people are hoping for a good fight. I actually picked Nate Diaz to beat Conor in the first fight, and I predicted it by second round rear naked choke. I know you're probably not going to believe that. I did not have a YouTube channel then, but I thought Nate was going to beat him both times. I hope Nate is able to put on a good performance tomorrow, but Leon is so good. But maybe Leon's overlooking Nate already, and maybe Nate comes out and just looks like a world beater. A lot of people were picking Nate to lose to Anthony Pettis. They thought that was a bad matchup for him. I picked Nate Diaz in that fight, and Nate Diaz looked great. And Diaz is somebody you can't count out. So, do you use Verdict MMA app? If not, I highly recommend to everyone. It's great fun to fight predictions. I've never used it before. I have to check it out though. Who are Nick Diaz's potential opponents for his return? I actually did a full video on this, but I'll give you my answers anyway. But if you get a chance, go watch that video. I recently did it. I'd like to see him against Jorge Masvidal or Robbie Lawler, or I think there was one more that I said I would like to see him against. Let me see. Robbie Lawler or Jorge Masvidal, and I wouldn't mind to see him against Vicente Luque either, but that one's the least of my picks. Basically, I want to see him versus Jorge Masvidal. And Wild Hippocampus, thank you for joining us tonight. That's the first time I've seen you send a message. Paul S., thank you for joining us tonight. That's the first time I've seen you send a message. I hope you guys all like the stream, and I hope you guys are all subscribed. Let's see. I believe you. Haha, you're a genius, dude. Thank you, man. Who has a better resume, Nick or Nate Diaz? Probably Nick. And that's only because I'm not high on Conor McGregor at all. So a lot of people would say that's Nate's best win, and I'm not high on that guy at all. I hate Masvidal. His popularity went to nothing. Yeah, he went. A lot of people don't like Masvidal anymore. I used to be a huge Masvidal fan, and he's kind of come off annoying ever since he KO'd Ben Askren in the first round. He's kind of become annoying and like full of himself. He got a little bit of MMA, a little bit of attention. And then he started kind of turning into a dick. So Leon would kill him worse than Masvidal. Yeah, probably. That had to be the most boring card I've watched in a very long time. It was terrible, my friend. I've not seen your name before, Mainstream Mop, so I appreciate you joining me. I do these live streams on the shittier cards because I enjoy talking to you guys while I'm watching a shittier card, because I had no interest really in watching Bellator 260 tonight, but I like to watch and keep up to date with all the MMA events. So I can't wait for UFC 263 tomorrow, because this card was trash and did not fulfill my need for MMA. The main event was one of the worst fights I've ever seen in my life. And Mainstream Mop, make sure you're subscribed, my friend. Paul S., thank you for subscribing. Nate beat McGregor, though. I know Nate did. I was happy that he beat him. So, but I don't believe McGregor's all that good, so... I hate how Anthony Pettis fell off. Damn, that was my guy. I know, he just straight disappeared. A lot of people speculate USADA came in, all of a sudden Anthony Pettis was changed. And yeah, it's cool to cover other events. Bellator, One Championship, PFL. Mainstream, is this the first time in the live chat? Because I don't ever remember seeing your name. But either way, I appreciate you, man. I really do. I really do appreciate it. Do you remember? I always like to ask people this. Do you remember anybody who remembers the first video they saw of mine that made them subscribe? Put it in the chat. I just never comment. You speak sense, so I don't have a lot to say. That's hilarious, man. I was talking about it earlier on this live chat / Bellator watch along. That for me personally, as a person that's consuming YouTube before I had a channel, I never commented on anybody's videos. I watched live streams, but I never participated in them. So it's funny because I know there has to be subscribers out there that literally never comment on anything, never say anything in the live chat, but they watch them anyway. I bet you there's someone right now who's listening who's like, I've watched this entire live chat, but I haven't said a damn thing in the chat. I never got involved in them either when I watched a lot of YouTube, but now I'm running this channel. Half the time I can't watch any videos myself. But regardless if you comment, regardless if you participate in the live chat, I appreciate you. And I love hearing you say I speak some sense. Because if I was saying crazy shit, you would comment. Gregor Gillespie was going to fight Pettis at one point. He would have destroyed Pettis. I'm looking it up right now. I can't remember if he had... I don't think he has another fight yet. I'm looking right now. Nope, he does not have another fight yet, my friend. He does not have another fight. Let me go over here. I don't care about Bellator anymore. I'm going to exit that. Let's see. Now I can look over here because I have the live chat open on here. Before I had Bellator open here and the live chat open over here. I watched you a while ago. I think it was a UFC event you covered. I like your style. That's what I like to hear, my friend. I started this YouTube channel because I can't find any YouTube content that I enjoy watching as far as MMA. I feel like the MMA media is super biased. They only cover the people who they perceive to be stars. I feel like a lot of MMA channels only talk about betting, and it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. And I couldn't find anything I like, so I was like, okay, well, I might as well make my own. And I try to make content that I think other people will watch and speak about it in a sensible way and not fanboy over certain people, which a lot of people do as well. You'll see people who do predictions and they're such a fanboy as someone they can't see what's right in front of them. Yep, no opponent yet. You don't put on a show, you're just yourself, and it's hard to find anyone real on YouTube these days. I know. Some people you can just tell they're so different on YouTube. Danny Bond, the fight is over. Douglas Lima got absolutely dominated for 5 rounds, but it was a terrible fight. Neither guy looked good at all. At all. It was a terrible fight. It was absolutely trash. I was disgusted by it. Yep. Lima got dominated, if you didn't hear me already. Let's see. My first video was Whitaker versus Gastelum post-fight. Awesome, man. Awesome. That was very early on. That was very early on, man. So you got here early. I had very little subscribers at that point in time. I started this channel on April 1st. So it's grown faster than I ever thought it would be. These MMA channels get insanely popular. Just keep at it. You'll do really good. I hope so. I really do. I really would love to be able to eventually do, nothing but videos all the time. Rip Lima, that's hilarious. Do you think Diego makes a return for UFC for one final fight and retire properly? Maybe against Clay. I like the matchup with Cowboy originally, but Clay would be nice if Diego had one more in the UFC. I doubt it. I think that the UFC doesn't want to cross that bridge anymore. I really think that it's just one of those things where, the UFC already cut ties with him. They don't want to stir the pot anymore and bring it back. Danny Boyd, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, he's talking about Diego Sanchez, I'm assuming. Anybody who hasn't liked the live stream yet, go like the live stream, please. And Alana said, I never comment. You're the first channel I ever commented on. I never even watched live YouTube videos. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. But no, I don't think the UFC brings Sanchez back. Danny Boyd, thank you for the love from India. I really appreciate it. And Crypto King, you butchered the spelling of Fajeda. But I don't blame you. I have a terrible time spelling names too. Lima lost. He was dominated for all 5 rounds. The fight was terrible. Most fanboys don't want the best fighting the best because they fear their man losing. Exactly. Regardless of who I like, I want to see the best fight the best. And I want to see, I want to see questions answered. I know there's too many fanboys in this space. And I really can't find any YouTube channels that I genuinely like that cover MMA. And then also on top of it, you see guys who are, I'm trying to think of a way to describe it, but they think they're right no matter what they say. They insist their opinion is right no matter what. And then they also do a terrible job when they're wrong. They just don't even talk about it. When I'm wrong, like if Nate Diaz goes out there tomorrow and just beats the break off of Leon, majority of my post fight will be talking about how did I get this one wrong. I've been a Nate Diaz fan forever. We've seen what he's done in the past, and we should have seen it coming, and blah blah blah. But a lot of guys, they'll do a prediction wrong, or they'll say something completely wrong or off base, and then they'll just ignore it. But if they're right, they'll be like, "Yeah, I told you I was doing this and that." But which defeats what's the sport is about, in my opinion. Yep. Who, you already answered that. Rip Joe Rogan, always see that in random live streams. Yeah, that's crazy. That's what makes the sport great. Amosov is champion, yes. When the real fights happen, agree. Most channels are way too biased and can't take criticism. Yes. It's disgusting. There's so many people who are like I have no problem if you love Conor. But there's people who are straight up Conor fanboys. They can't say anything to the contrary. And everybody has a natural bias no matter what. I have bias. But when I started my channel, I made a conscious effort to try to be as least biased as possible and pick the fights based on who I think is going to win. Talk about guys based on the facts and just be real about it, not be fake. Also, there's other channels, which I know you guys have seen this before. They may cover MMA on their channel, but all they do is spam. They just spam whatever, whatever's hot at the time, whether it's Diego Sanchez, Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, nothing but 5 or 6 videos about them. And it's just disturbing. They're just in it for the likes, the clicks. For me, I cover what I personally would want to see, along with what others say they want to see. And I just hope that my channel grows to be popular just the way it is. And I'm never going to be one of those people that are just, okay, well, Nate Diaz is popular, so let me make 26 videos about Nate Diaz and this or that, I don't like that at all. I say what I think regardless. He's a Gregor fanboy, as in Gregor Gillespie, but you know him, so that's pretty cool. I think a lot of them are actually funded by rival promotions and specific protection for certain fighters. I honestly believe some of the high-level MMA media is cashing checks from the UFC. You're doing a great job on not being biased. That's why I love your channel. Yes, I try to be unbiased. Okay, Crypto King. So I just see your message, but before I get in that message, what I love about my channel is I love to see others' opinions, and I'm never insisting that I'm the smartest in the room. I'm never insisting that I am right no matter what. But you asked me for my opinion, so I'll tell you my opinion. I absolutely hate Chael Sonnen. I feel like I know truly more MMA knowledge than he does. He's a guy that finds a hot topic, whether it be Khamzat Chimaev, Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, and all he does is spam videos about it. And he makes 7-minute videos, a minute with an intro, a minute with an outro, and an ad somewhere in there. And it's disgusting to me. I don't like Chael Sonnen. And then on top of that, he acts like he's so smart. And everything he says is wrong. He must have made 10 videos about how Charles Oliveira doesn't deserve a title shot. and that Conor McGregor versus Dustin 3 will be for a title. But this was before anything was announced or anything. And I can't stand that. And I think, and I've said this before when we've talked about Chael Sonnen, I honestly believe Chael Sonnen is hurting for money. Because if you notice, he just pumps out quick videos saying, he literally says nothing. It's almost comical at this point. He talks in circles. He says nothing. The actual statements that he does say end up always being wrong. It's almost like he's being funny. He does do a great job at storytelling, though. I can be unbiased as much as I dislike Chael Sonnen and his channel. He does a great job at storytelling, and I think that's what draws people to him. The way he's able to articulate his stories or his opinion, he makes it very interesting for people. The way, But have you guys noticed how many times he crosses and uncrosses his legs in videos? I still watch some of them just out of curiosity of what he's saying, but I can't stand him. But he's hilariously wrong. Like, almost at this point, I feel like he tries to be wrong on purpose, and it's comical. Chael says he's undefeated. Yeah, Chael's a lunatic. Do you know how pissed he is that he lost to Anderson Silva in that first fight? He beat Anderson Silva for 4.5 rounds just to get triangle choked. Oh, I know that eats him alive. He'll never say it. And he's still pissed about that John Jones loss too. He does nothing but talk shit about John Jones. Ginge, by the way, I just seen your message. It's way up top, but I missed it when it came through and I was talking about Chael Sonnen. You missed nothing. The fight card was terrible. Douglas Lima got dominated for all 5 rounds. It was disgusting. Chael is so annoying. They say he's cursed. He looks coked up. Yeah, people always timestamp the leg crosses. Why does he constantly cross cross his legs? It's fucking weird as hell. But that's the timestamps. I've seen that before, and that's hilarious. Chael getting events together grappling, isn't he? Like his own promotion. I think he is, or already has. But who knows? Those people are probably getting scammed. The dude's been arrested before for like scamming people or evading taxes. For me personally, and I understand the appeal to Chael Sonnen, he strikes me as a dodgy guy. I don't know. He's just taking advantage of every loophole he can possibly find, and he just pushes narratives that sees him get clicks. He's not really trying to talk about anything. He'll make a video about Nick Diaz, Conor McGregor, Khamzat Chimaev, and he'll just talk in circles saying nothing. Let's see. John Jones is from Rochester too. Yes, I do know that. Him and Tito are cringe. Yes. I can't listen to Tito talk at all. He lives in the hood though. Gregor's parents are rich as balls. Oh, that's hilarious. That's funny to know. You say you grew up with him. Do you just kind of vaguely know him, or were you actually like pretty good friends with him when you were younger? A guy Claxton impressed me on Bellator. I think he's really good. I didn't see him. I'll maybe have to check that out. Science works in mysterious ways. This is the first time I'm seeing you on the channel. Are you subscribed, my friend? When he asked to feel the woman's hair on TV. I never seen that. But he's delusional too. I swear, he thinks he was the best MMA fighter ever. He gets off to like really thinking he should have been champion. Like he's so strange. I never liked him when he was in the UFC. But I have to admit he made fights more interesting. Even though he had that whole sideshow, it was fun seeing him fight Anderson Silva in the rematch. And the first fight where he beat Anderson Silva for 4.5 rounds and then got triangled, that was the fight that sealed the deal for me as a hardcore MMA fan. I almost said MMA champion. Hilarious. Talk something about Tony. We support him a lot. I think it was really hard for Tony to get a title shot. I hope Tony gets some wins and gets what he deserves. I hate to break your heart, Danny Bond. I love Tony Ferguson. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. I love his style. I love his uniqueness. He's super awkward. And his personality is extremely strange. But he will never, ever get another title shot ever. I think he's fought straight killers, so I'm not going to say he's washed. But he needs some matchups conducive to him winning. I would like to see him fight Nate Diaz if Nate Diaz loses this. I'd like to see him maybe fight like an Ally Quinta or something. I want to see him get a step back. He's fought nothing but killers. So I really hope Tony does get some wins, though. I don't want to see him leave the UFC. I want to see him get a couple wins, and I want to see him retire in the UFC. I don't want to see him go into anything else. Yeah, he has some message back and forth on Facebook when he has upcoming fights. He's extremely nice. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Be really good or could be. Claxton fought Gonzalez tonight. Gonzalez won, but I'm going to watch Claxton. Lives about 5 minutes away. Dude, I was at the fight where he got head kicked by Kevin Lee. It was just absolutely brutal. Just slept him. It was insanity. So, but we'll see where he can compete now. He got that big win over Diego Ferreira. I'd like to see a big fight for him coming soon. So we'll see where he really is, and we'll gauge his ability. And every time I talk about him now, I'm going to think of you. Yeah, I love Tony, but he's past his prime, but still compete against lower rank contenders. Yeah, but sometimes the UFC, when a guy's that high level at some point, they pay him a significant amount of money. And then when they start to fall off a little bit, the UFC says, you know what, I don't want to pay him this large sum of money to fight, some of the lower level top 10 guys or, outside the top 10 guys. So then they cut him and then they go into other promotions. So that could be what happens to Tony. I hope it doesn't, but it may happen. I think his chance for title forever went away when Khabib retired. Yeah, but his chance was never very good because I think Khabib, I said this before Tony was even on his losing streak. I wanted to see Khabib versus Tony bad. Khabib would have wrecked Tony, and it would have been devastation, and I believe he would have finished Tony. So I don't think, at least Tony got to be interim champion when he beat Kevin Lee years ago. But it just sucks just to see Tony lose. I know everyone loves Tony. Hey, I never said I was going to be rooting for him. I said I'm going to think of him. Every time I think of him, I'm going to think of you. So I don't necessarily know if I'll be rooting for him every fight. We'll see how it goes. But Tony Ferguson in Bellator makes him big money and possibly a belt. Maybe, I don't know. Scott Coker, the president of Bellator, has kind of made a conscious effort saying he doesn't want to sign any more UFC like cast-offs, kind of like older guys. So I think they should sign Tony Ferguson if he becomes a free agent. I don't know if he'll become champion though. Pitbull was the current champion, and I don't know if Tony can get by him. But I'd like to see it. But I would sad to see Tony outside the UFC, to be honest. Why don't I consider Khabib the GOAT? I feel like he wasn't around long enough. He's definitely one of the GOATs, and Khabib's probably he's one of my favorite fighters. I have this. Hold on, my friend. Look at that right there. Khabib Nurmagomedov Funko Pop. But I just don't know if he was around long enough to really call him the GOAT. I would have liked to see some more title defenses. But who knows? England time zone's a killer. Dude, I got to get some rest to stay up for tomorrow's UFC. Yeah, mainstream. I'm not doing a stream for tomorrow, but I'll be doing a post-fight immediately following the event. So make sure you check out the post-fight. I appreciate you stopping in. And every week, I'm going to try to do one live stream. So I think next Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to do another live stream. So join us there. I'll schedule it 24 hours ahead of time. So you'll be able to see it on your feed and be able to set reminder, and it'll notify you when I do go live. So, but thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. But Khabib is definitely up there, though. He's definitely one of the greats, Which matchup excites you more? Okay, I'm waiting to see these matchups. Done, mate. Yep. So you'll see that post-fight tomorrow, and then a live stream next Tuesday or Wednesday, and we can chat all about UFC 263 in real time. Good night, and enjoy the card tomorrow, my friend. I'm like a kid on Christmas right now. Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis or Francis versus Jones? Easy answer. Francis versus John Jones. You have a guy considered the consensus GOAT light heavyweight. There's been talk of him moving up to heavyweight forever. We finally see him move up to heavyweight and fight the scariest heavyweight champion we've ever had in Francis Ngannou. Unequivocally, Ngannou versus John Jones is the fight that I want to see. Yeah, I got to hop off. It's 4:45 a.m., but I'll watch the post-fight tomorrow as well as future live streams. Thank you, JS. I appreciate you. Good night. Enjoy your night's rest. Be excited for UFC 263 tomorrow. And maybe I'll do a random video tomorrow. I don't know. I'll think of something to do. Interesting. What about you? What are you more excited for, Danny Boyd or Danny Bond? Lewis or against Ngannou or Jones versus Ngannou? Let me know real quick. But if anybody else has any more questions, leave them in the chat. I'll stay on here for 15 more minutes. I'm going to make this a 3-hour live stream. What time is it where you're at, Danny? So anybody else that has any other questions, throw them in the live chat right now. I want to make this an official 3-hour live stream. That's what I'm aiming for. This will be my longest live stream ever. Ginge, one of the OGs. Ginge, when I get up to like 10,000 subscribers, and these live streams are crazy with comments, I'm gonna have to make you a moderator, Ginge. I like to see Jones get KO'd by Francis. I think a lot of people would like to see that. And I wish the UFC would pay John Jones and we could see that fight, because that's the biggest fight the UFC can make right now. 9:15 here in the morning. What time do the fights come on? So what time will the pay-per-view start for you tomorrow? I'm curious. I'd like to see Jones versus Francis now, not a year from now, when Jones has sat for 2 years with no fights. I know, and then we have the built-in excuse from Jones. Well, I sat out for too long and I had ring rust. I want to see it now. But I think there's a chance, Paul. I think there's a chance. There's a reason that Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis is not official yet. I do not know what that reason is, but there is a reason. So if Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis is not official yet, then we still have a chance for Francis Ngannou versus John Jones. Ginge, I know your time zone's crazy, so I just imagine you like listening, laying down right now, falling asleep, listening to this live chat, getting ready to fall asleep, and you just can't think straight because it's so late where you're at. But you did not miss anything when it came to the Lima versus the other guy. I don't even remember how to pronounce his name. Amosov or something like that. Armasov. You did not miss anything. Lima was taken down for all 5 rounds and dominated, and Lima had a closed guard, didn't even try to get up. And there was barely any ground and pound from the guy on top. UFC 263 main card will start here Sunday, 7:30. I guess 7:30 a.m. and Saturday here in timing in 9:16 India. 5:30 ahead of GMT. I'm wide awake and now had an hour and brand new again. Isn't it weird how that can happen sometimes? Sometimes I'll be dead tired, sleep for 20 minutes, and wake up feeling refreshed. I hate John Jones. I feel like a lot of people do hate John Jones. I don't personally. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch fight. I know how unlikable he is, though. He's super unlikable. But for me, it's the skill level which makes me like him and want to see him fight. So therefore, it kind of makes me partial to him, a little bit, rather than hating him, because I just want to see him fight so badly that it's hard for me to dislike him. But I understand that a lot of people do. He's a super unlikable guy. Hey man, well, you're new to the UFC. Well, you found the best MMA channel. Brother, go ahead and have some sleep. We want you tomorrow too. I'll be definitely doing a post fight, so make sure you have your notifications on. Good night, Danny. Enjoy your sleep, okay? Jones lifting heavyweights won't get him anywhere close to Francis's natural strength. Francis has advanced too much, and when the skill differential shrinks, his strength weight will win. Thoughts? I've always talked about, if all things are equal, the bigger guy's always going to win. So, but I think John Jones has a chance. I think Jones is better. But it's hard to quantify with Francis Ngannou's power. You know what I mean? He just has game-changing power. And if he lands on John Jones's jaw, he's putting him to sleep. I think Jones is more technical. I think Jones is more well-rounded. But I just don't know if he's going to be able to get Ngannou down, and that's his path to victory. Because I don't know if he's going to want to strike from the outside with him, try to pick him apart from the outside with kicks and combinations. Because it's too dangerous. Ngannou's just throwing bombs nonstop. So I really don't know, but I could see him beating Ngannou. But right now, gun to my head, if you told me to pick a winner, I'd probably go Ngannou to win by knockout. His power is just unworldly. It's just incredible power. Look what he did to Stipe. I think I'd rather watch you stream comment tomorrow's UFC event than order it. I'm just hoping for Diaz to upset tomorrow. I'm a Diaz fan at fault. I think Izzy wins 3 rounds. Yeah, the thing is, and I've told people this before, I want to eventually live stream the big events, but the live streams that I do now are for smaller events because I'm watching on my computer. I can't watch a huge event like UFC 263 on my computer, but it would be great for the channel. There would be a lot of new subscribers. There would be a lot of new people watching with me. But eventually I'm going to get a setup, especially when I get over 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to have a setup to be able to watch the big events and live stream simultaneously. But right now I just don't have it. But if you don't watch my post-fight show and I'll break down everything that happened on UFC 263. So turn on your notifications. Usually I get the video up within about 40 minutes because sometimes the video is about a half an hour. And once I record it, I got to quickly edit the beginning, end, and then upload it as quick as possible for post-fights. UFC 300, Ben Askren versus CM Punk would be sickest main event ever. Stop it. Stop it. I don't ever want to see Ben Askren or CM Punk fight again. I'm not rooting for anyone. Hard for me to see Jones taking Francis down if Stipe couldn't. Yeah, but Stipe didn't have, he didn't have a lot of attempts, and he was able to do it in the first fight. But we would have to see. And also, I think Jones has better takedowns than Stipe. Jones would figure a way to beat Ngannou. That's what he does. His history has proven that with him. Jones will be a guy that he always fights to his opponent's strengths, which is crazy to me. He'd be a guy that would come out and slug it out with Francis Ngannou. Before you sign off, the only thing I disagree with you is on TJ Dillashaw. I know he was on roids, but you have to admit he's an amazing fighter. He was a great fighter, but I just can't stand the fact that he went down a weight class. He tried to close out the division. He campaigned on the fact, I'm going to end the flyweight division. He cheated with an injectable-only PED. So to take EPO, you have to take a needle and inject it into yourself. There's no, it was an accident, it was tainted supplement, I didn't realize, blah, blah, blah. He injected it into his body to go close down a division and make quite a few people lose their jobs. And if he was using it then, I believe he was using it before then. And I even talked to one of my buddies who's a hardcore MMA fan, and we speculated that TJ Dillashaw was on EPO far before he got busted. The beatings he put on Renan Barão were game-changing. But I will admit, TJ Dillashaw in his peak was very, very fun to watch. And the beating of Renan Barão at UFC 173 when he was completely counted out, didn't even deserve the title shot, got it because Rafael Sunsao couldn't fight. Amazing. Yeah, but still, he would never admit it if he didn't get caught. You think if he won that belt, he would say, I took EPO. No, he only admitted it because he got caught. And what pisses me off even more is that after the stoppage, he cried and whined everywhere. Meanwhile, he was cheating the whole damn time, so it just makes it even worse. So TJ will never have my respect after that. I just think there's so many things that just piss me off about him. And I hope Sandhagen beats him. He's fighting Sandhagen next month, which is a great fight. And I really hope Sandhagen is able to, beat him. I don't think he will, man. It's gonna be very, very hard. Very, very hard. I just don't know. I just don't know how he can, And if you like him, that's fine. If you respect him, that's fine. He's probably be a fun fighter to watch. I'm excited to see how he looks in his return. I'm super excited. And I'll always be interested to see him fight, but just on a personal level, I always have to shit on him for using EPL to try to close down a division and make multiple people lose their jobs, all because he wanted to cheat. I'm so excited for 263 tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun, guys. I'm really trying to make this stream my first ever 3-hour stream. I pray he's clean. Kid loves his roids. If he popped positive again, what would you like to see his punishment be? How long would he be suspended for? Do you think most fighters are on some form of PEDs? I feel like it's not really possible to train 2-3 times a day for months, maintain muscle mass, and not get worn down without taking something. I think the level of people taking PEDs is far higher than people think. I wouldn't doubt if it's more than 50%. 50. If it's more than 50% of fighters taking some type of PED. The training regimens are just unbelievable. Now, are some as bad as others? Probably not. But some guys are just probably cheating terribly. Stian Carlson. Are you a subscriber, man? This is the first time I'm seeing your name in the chat. I seen it. You were up. You said something a little bit ago, but this is the first chat I've seen you in. Poirier versus McGregor next month. Who you got? I'm going with Dustin Poirier. I just don't think he's going to be able to put Poirier away, and if the fight gets past the first, second round, I think Poirier finishes him no matter what happens in those early rounds. If he's positive again, I think he'll get a 4-year suspension. UFC will cut ties with him after the 4-year suspension. They won't let him go fight somewhere else, which he would deserve. But Carlson, make sure you subscribe if you're not. I know this is the first chat I've seen you in. Nick and Nate Diaz. Everyone's on steroids. Yep. So, I wouldn't doubt it. It wouldn't surprise me. Nate even had that scare, remember? He'd be too old to be competitive for a belt anyway. Yeah, who knows? He might come back against Sandhagen next month and look like shit. He's been out for 2 years, which rightfully so. He deserved a 2-year suspension. Could you imagine had he beat Henry Cejudo at flyweight, won the flyweight belt, and then the UFC closed down the flyweight division, and then he popped positive? What a fucking debacle that would have been. I did a 3-hour and 12-minute last week. I didn't realize that. Damn, now I'm pissed. I was happy to hit 3 hours. I'm pissed now. Thanks for ruining it for me, Ginge. If you guys could only watch one fight from UFC 263 next week, which fight would it be? That's what I'm curious. For me, it's got to be Adesanya versus Vettori. But Figueroa versus Moreno would be amazing too. You missed Till. I know he's constantly injured. It sucks. I wish. He broke his collarbone in his last fight. He was supposed to fight Marvin Vettori in March. But you know what sucks? I guess it's cool for you, but it sucks. If Darren Till gets one win in the middleweight, he's getting the next title shot. The UFC's ready to give him a title shot. So, but he's had injury after injury. He was supposed to fight in December against Jack Hermanson. He pulled out of that fight with an injury. Marvin Vettori stepped in. Then in March, he was supposed to fight Marvin Vettori. He fell out. Kevin Holland stepped in. Do you think Amanda and Chris are stuck fighting lesser talent, challenge to point they just retire? I just don't see anyone that can challenge either fighter. I don't see any fighter that can really challenge them other than Amanda Nunes. Valentina Shevchenko could challenge her. But it seems like that fight isn't going to happen. But I don't think they're going to retire. I think they're just going to keep collecting them easy checks. That's what I would do. Why wouldn't you just keep fighting bums for checks? I would. Dylan says, I just got here. Who did you go for Izzy versus Marvin? You said Martin, but you meant Marvin. First off, before I tell you, I have an entire 20-minute prediction video on my channel. Please go check it out and get the full breakdown. But I'm going with Israel Adesanya. I think he's going to stop Marvin. I think his striking is just too good. Marvin's too sloppy on the entries. And I think eventually he's going to get clipped. He might win round 1. But if you want a full 20-minute prediction video, I got it on my channel. I got a prediction video for the main event, Israel versus Marvin. Figueroa versus Moreno, and Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards, all on my channel. Dylan, I feel like I've seen your name before. Are you subscribed, or did you just find my channel tonight? Either way, it's awesome. Who's your 3 favorite UFC fighters? I can't rank them in order, but I'll tell you a couple of them. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Anderson Silva, and Robbie Lawler. Marvin is so sloppy on the feet. Even Kevin Holland landed quite a few punches on him. And Kevin Holland was on the ground the majority of the fight. I think he can get Adesanya down, but it's not going to be easy. And maybe he gets 1 or 2 takedowns, but Adesanya is harder to take down. Therefore, there's going to be more time spent on the feet, and I think Adesanya is eventually going to find his chin and KO him. Awesome, man, awesome. A lot of people, that's why I do these live streams. A lot of people find my channel. This was just a Bellator 260 watch along, but once a week I'm doing like a live chat stream, usually like on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'll be doing one Tuesday or Wednesday. Make sure you join me for that one as well. Anybody else who's in here, make sure you join me for that one, Tuesday or Wednesday. And also, I know I've said this already, but I'm just going to say it in case anybody didn't hear me. I'll be doing a live stream, or not a live stream. I'll be doing a post-fight tomorrow night. So if you don't have notifications on, turn on notifications. Click the bell on my channel so you get notified. I can see how many people have notifications on in my analytics, and I love seeing that number go up. So please go do that if you haven't. I really appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything, and it just helps you find my videos faster, and it makes me feel better about having more people with notifications. Dude, I wish you could have seen your reaction to Lawler's loss to Askren. I was fucking pissed. Lawler just fucking mauled him in the beginning of the fight, slammed him, just started beating the living piss out of him, only to get bulldog choked, and it was a controversial stoppage. That sucked. I know you're new to the MMA, but I'm sure you probably heard of the Lawler-Rory McDonald fight, which was a crazy fight for the welterweight belt. And in between rounds at one point, they were just staring each other down, both bloodied and battered. And there's a picture of that, and I have it hanging in my living room. And it's that picture with Rory McDonald's autograph over him and Robbie Lawler autograph over himself. It's really awesome. Eventually, when I have like a full-blown YouTube setup, I'm going to have it hanging directly behind me. What past or current UFC fighter do you think had the most unreached potential? We could go Kevin Lee, Michael Johnson. Sometimes it's hard to think of these off the top of your head. Kevin Lee and Michael Johnson are both great examples. They were super inconsistent. Michael Johnson has a massive, knockout win over Dustin Poirier, but he's super inconsistent, and the same for Kevin Lee. So there's 2 of them. If I think of any more, I'll let you know. But it's hard for me to, sometimes I can't, there's so many fighters. But I would definitely say those 2. And I know there's some that I'm not thinking of right off the top of my head right now. Let me actually look and see if I see anyone that I think of on the rankings. Kelvin Gastelum probably. But he's still done pretty well. But I would like to see him get a title, but he's still done pretty well. Let's see. I know there's somebody I can't think of off the top of my head right now. I know there's somebody I'm just so disturbed with what I thought their potential was, and they were never able to capitalize on it, which was sad, honestly. When you Google the best UFC fight, that comes up as number 1. That was an amazing fight, and I was a massive Robbie Lawler fan before he was ever even champion. I just hope Izzy can contain himself emotionally after the fight. With his friend just passing away, great show. I found this page. Looking forward to your content, bro. Have a good evening. Thank you, Paul S. Make sure you turn on notifications so you can get notified when I post my post-fight tomorrow. Right after the fights. Within like a half hour, 45 minutes of the fights ending tomorrow, I have a video put up. F. Kevin Lee, love Kelvin. Last question, I promise. I love all the questions, so you don't ever have to say last question, promise. Any questions you have, I love to answer. And I want you to be there for Wednesday when I do a live chat. Do you think some fighters really stunt their growth by staying with camps they can't grow them? Chris Weidman comes to mind. Yes, I think it definitely happens more often than you know. They want to be loyal to their camps, But camps have certain strengths and weaknesses like anything. I think the best thing is to really move around and really jump around to different camps with different strengths, different training partners, different coaches. I think that's the best way to go. I was never high on Chris Weidman regardless, but his striking's always been terrible. So if he could have went somewhere that really got his striking on point, maybe he could have been a lot better, you know. But I always appreciate the questions, so don't ever worry about asking questions because I love them. Check out the post-fight tomorrow night. I'm going to get off of here now. It's over 3 hours. I appreciate all you for joining me. Dylan, Crypto King, a.k.a. Tom, Paul, Ginge, everyone who's here. Thank you for watching. Good night, and I will talk to you in the next video.